The following podcast contains strong language and alternative facts. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Heel Podcast. Over the airwaves and under the influence, we are Turning Heel.
Let's get this shindig started. Hello and welcome to an absolutely gargantuan episode of the Turning Heel podcast this week. With me, the Griz, and with me this week is both motherfuckers, Chris motherfucking Hughes.
Hello. Your microphone's extremely quiet.
Me?
Yeah. Oh, it's fine now. That was weird. Yeah, it seems okay now. Never mind. Hey, how we doing?
Will we ever get out of technical hell?
Fuck it. We're not restarting based on about 4 seconds of you talking that's really quiet. You're okay now. It's fine.
Fingers crossed. And speaking of technical, let's start up Robert the Robot.
Bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop, bleep, bloop, bleep.
Oh, no.
No. Brr, brr. Happy.
He's happy. I wonder why he's happy. So, right, what we will say very quickly before we get into this is, yes, we were meant to record this on Sunday, but me and Chris decided to play darts until 6 a.m. and drinking coconut rum. So, therefore, Sunday was kind of a no-go for us. If any of you have listened or watched the Turnbuckle Arms that I appeared on, I don't remember it, so please tell me how that went.
To be fair, it worked out in my favour because I marathoned Ms. and Mrs.
Nice.
Well done.
Wow. To build up to a little something that happened that night. But we will get into that.
I napped and then got drunk again.
That's going to be your first t-shirt.
I napped.
Drink. Nap, drink. Nap, drink, nap, drink, repeat. Right, so as we were saying, we were meant to do this on Sunday. So this is obviously going to be covering last week's stuff, which we will end with the Elimination Chamber, and then we will be back later on this week to cover this week's stuff. So in case you're confused, that's why. So anyway, why don't we kickstart things off with the first round in the Japanese leg of the AEW Women's Championship Tournament. So we've seen Mei Suruga, who was nobody's pick, who was the wild card pick, taking on Chris's Yuka Sakazaki. So the first note, obviously, I have here is
Let's go.
Whoever sings that song has to have amazing lung power.
I'm pretty sure it is her that sings it. Or if it's not, I'm surprised.
Oh, it was really good to see her again.
I know. Little sweet, adorable, cute as a button. And plus, great in-ring competitor as well. She's the whole package. Except for when you see that photo of her online where she's wearing one of those t-shirts that just kind of says, "I wish I had boobs." And then she's just kind of looking at her chest all defeated.
She should really learn how to make mountains out of molehills.
Yeah, sometimes it makes me comfortable handful is perfect.
Aye. If it's more than a handful, it's a waste.
Moving on. Disagree. So we're cutting into the middle of the match here to try and, save some time. So the Magical Girl Splash was attempted by Yuki, but Suruga tries to stop it. Mi tries a crossbody, but Yuka counters for a 2 count. Mi gives the RVD style leg roll up pin for a 2. There was a bridging suplex from Mi. Then Yuka has this terrifying looking power bomb that looked very pile driver like. Then she sets up for the Magical Girls 450 splash for 3, or a rope for Yuki. and Yuki advances. Wow. How did I get that one wrong? So Yuka Sakazaki is through to the second round of the tournament, and one of Chris's picks is through to round 2. So next, we have your boy, the Griz's first pick, Venny, taking on Chris's second pick, Emi Sakura. So, kind of a little bit of an interesting sort of tidbit here at the beginning of this match was they said that Venny used to be a member of Oedo Tai in Stardom. I did not know Venny was ever in Stardom. And Hana Kimura's mother actually gave the kimono that Venny was wearing to the ring to her because in another promotion, Hana Kimura and Venny were a tag team. So it was just a nice little bit of sort of honor of the young, sweet Hana Kimura.
Oh, he done really well, I think, with the commentary when he was just himself.
Yeah, he got some pretty heavy praise for it on Dynamite.
He was a perfect person to do it, obviously, because he knows everything about everyone that's ever stepped foot into the ring. So there was spinning heel kicks and a shotgun drop kick for Venny for 2. Venny with a choke slam, but it's countered by chops. Countered 2 chops by Emi Sakura. Emi, chop, 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 chop. Emi attempts a cradle pin, but stopped by Venny that almost gets a 3 count off of it. There's a spinning wheel kick and a choke slam sit-down style by Venny for a very close 2. Venny sets up and goes for a moonsault, but Emi Sakura gets a roll-up as she gets out of the way for 2, but then kind of keeps hold and locks in the Dragon Sleeper. Then she hits the Tiger Driver, which puts Venny away. Both shake hands, and then Venny bitch slaps Emi Sakura in the face and leaves. So that's 2 for 2 on Chris's picks as they both advance to the second round, and my first one is knocked out.
I didn't even recognise Emi when she first came out. I was like, where is she?
I know, she looks super different, doesn't she?
Way different. And
when
I thought they changed her music, and I was like, where's the dun 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 dun? And then it eventually kicked in, and I was like, yay, happy place.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like a combo of both theme songs or something.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely seems to be running some kind of Queen gimmick, but not Queen the band anymore. Queen as in, I am actually a queen. Because she comes out in the long robe and the crown and all that jazz. Very interesting.
All the jazz.
All the jazz. Jazz hands. The cutest in the world, Maki Ito, takes on Ryo Mizunami. So, Maki Ito, my second pick, taking on Robert's first pick.
Well, safe pick.
What Robert was left with.
You had 4 people to choose from.
I was left with the dregs.
Yeah, let's see how those dregs go then. So, the beginning of this match started with Ito popping Ryo in the face and asks for one back. So Maki Ito takes one to the face and then bursts into tears. Just
fucking hilarious.
The biggest, dumbest.
It worked so much better without the fact there wasn't like any audience or anything. I thought you could hear it more, and it just sort of hit you. It was kind of like, this is fucking great, and then also it was like, oh, poor Maki.
I actually meant to try and see if I could say in Japanese who's the cutest in the world, Maki Ito, but it's a bit beyond my skill level right now. Rio feels bad, and then Kenna starts to come over to comfort Maki, and then Maki stomps and grinds on the toes of Rio. We jump a bit further at the match where Io does she does this thing that I've only ever seen in anime, where she does that thing where she like kind of pulls one eye down and it goes bleh, and then sticks out her tongue, and it's like, I didn't know that was an actual thing Japanese people done. I thought it was just an anime thing, but there you go. There was a headbutt to the arm of Rio because Io has that metal head. It gets stronger on impact. To the arm of Rio, and then there was a head-on-head collision with the two of them. And as the saying goes in wrestling, Samoans and Maki Ito have the strongest heads. So there was a DDT by Ito and a swinging DDT for 2. Ito tries her diving headbutt but misses, and then gets hit by a spear, but Ito kicks out. Rio with the head and arm triangle, and Maki Ito taps out. And officially, I am out of this end of the tournament. So I really need to rely on Riho and Anna Jay.
Oh, well.
I guess we'll drop that spoiler then out. Anna Jay is injured and has been taken out of the tournament.
The worst bit is that they're predicting it's like 9 to 12 months.
I know. She's
It really sucks because she was like, I felt she was really starting to build momentum and sort of move forward. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I listened to her interview in Talk is Jericho. I had no idea she's only been wrestling for like 2 years.
Yeah, she's one of like the freshest prospects. Mm-hmm. She was one of the ones that was just so happened to be training at the Nightmare Factory when they done the tapings down there at the start of the pandemic.
Yeah, it was kind of like a right place, right time kind of thing for her.
Because it was only like her third match and it was fucking on TV.
Yeah. Speaking of which, if you remember a couple of weeks ago on Dark, there was Brooke Havoc, I think her name was, who literally had her first ever match on television. So they're churning them out quite quickly down there in the Nightmare Factory because she had another one recently, and even Cody accompanied her to the ring. So so that he gets a little bit of shine on Dark. It's like, look at me, it's me again. Have you heard about my baby?
That was more fat bastard than Cody Rhodes.
Have you heard about my baby? I could make it do aeroplanes now. Helicopter spins. What's worse, the fact I said it or the fact you could see me doing the movements?
A little from column A, a little from column B. So we move on to the wild card. Rin Katakura taking on Robert's Aja Kong. So Aja goes up to the second, but Rin is back and takes her down. There's a swinging DDT for Rin and a cannonball for 2. Rin goes for a flipping leg drop from the top but misses. Aja gets the backdrop driver for 2, which looks lethal. Aja then tries the brainbuster, but Rin won't give up and keeps fighting out. But she eventually gets taken down and then gets the second rope elbow from Kong. 1, 2, 3. Aja Kong advances. And so the second round comprises of Yuka Sakazaki, which is Chris's, versus Emi Sakura, which is Chris's.
Oh, God damn it.
Which is Ryo Mizunami, which is Robert's, versus Aja Kong, which is Robert's, while me and Wildcard sit on the sidelines. Harumph. So as of right now, you have an absolute guarantee to get one of your two into the final. At that point last week, obviously the second round has happened since then, and one of your two is through to the final. But that was the first round of the AEW Women's Championship tournament. Then we'll very quickly move on to AEW Dark Horses Top 5, which last week, I should say, fucking sucked. So, this was a 1 hour episode, and the competitors were John Cruz taking on John Moxley, Bear Country took on the Chaos Project, Jake St. Patrick and Sage Scott took on Butcher and Blade, Renee Michelle took on Shanna, and Robert sticking his dinner in the camera. Eric James and VSK took on Silver and Reynolds, Baron Black and John Schuyler took on the Jurassic Express. Vixen has her 0-2 record as she went up against Tay Conti. Aaron Solo with a 0-1 record for the year took on Eddie Kingston. Casey Navarro with his 0-2 record took on Ricky Starks. Mysterioso with a 0-0 record making his debut took on Brad Cutler. Ryzen with his 0-4 records took on Powerhouse Hobbs. And Fuego del Sol with his 0-2 record took on Nick Camarado. So I'm going to be very quick with this. John Cruz, Renee Michelle, Aaron Solo, Mysterioso, and Fuego del Sol are the top 5 for the week, purely for the fact that they were the only one that had competitive matches, because some of the matches literally went about 20 seconds if you were lucky. Casey Navarro was already in the ring. Ricky Starks came out and made his entrance. Spear, 1, 2, 3. What was the point? What the fuck was the point? And it's
Street Fight.
Yeah, but it's bad that when I'm actually complaining about Dark not being good.
And a point on Mysterioso, you might see him again this week when you go to watch New Japan Strong.
Ooh.
Because Mysterioso's basically been on it since like episode 5.
As Mysterioso or as somebody?
Mysterioso. Because that's who he is. That's his gimmick everywhere he goes.
Yeah, the Poundland Rey Mysterio.
The Scott Steiner wearing a Rey Mysterio mask.
Yeah.
Cunt's jacked.
I know he is, totally. So those 5 were purely only get the shout for the fact that they had even slightly decent competitive matches, whereas everything else was an absolute squash. And I mean squash. So now we move on to, right, everybody say it with me. B-T-I. That's right, before the Impact.
I thought we were going to go B-T-E.
I know, that's why I did it, just to piss you off. Because they had an exclusive match where Triple XL took on Decay. So this match started with Crazy Steve in the ring, and Matt Striker says, "Oh, well, I know Crazy Steve, and I feel like I want to call him Misunderstood Steven."
Oh,
you and you only, son. Go on.
I watched Impact. I watched Impact today, like this week's, and he said something horrendous in that as well. But I can't remember what it was. But it was one of those things where I was like, what? You'll probably pick up on it when you watch it, Griz.
I have watched it, but I don't remember what you're talking about. If you can think of it.
I'm pretty sure it was in the tag match, like Triple XL versus Gallows and Anderson. But I can't fucking remember what it was. Something, I just pure cringed when he said it. Like, I'll try and find it next time. I'll try and rewatch it tomorrow and find the bit I'm talking about and talk about it. I'll bring it up in the next episode. But he said something.
Bring up when we get to it.
Yeah.
Because I was having like really weird streaming issues during that point where like the thing just kept stopping. So I might have missed it. But nevertheless, so AC Romero does this thing where he just kind of steamrolls like and takes out the legs of Crazy Steve. Triple XL keep Crazy Steve in the ring for a long time, beating him down. Toros finally tags in and kind of cleans house, only to tag Steve back in after about 40 seconds or something. Then Steve hits a Rana on AC Romero, which looked insane. But then Larry D squashes Steve in the corner. Toros gets taken off the apron. And Triple XL start to get their finisher set up. But Rosemary gets in the ring, which causes a slight distraction, giving Decay a chance. Steve hangs Larry D up on the top rope. Then Steve comes off the top rope with his flying DDT to get the first ever victory on Being the Impact. You all sound so elated.
Yeah.
I never seen
I did like the Being the Impact though, because he kept mentioning it when I was watching it, and I was like, BTI? I'm like, BTE? Surely it was very confusing.
Don't call me Shirley.
Shout out to my new favourite wrestler, Black Taurus.
Yeah, boy.
He's fucking awesome.
I cannot wait until, well, spoilers. I cannot wait to see him in like some singles matches as we kind of spoke about a couple of weeks ago. He's only been kind of stuck in tags recently, so can't wait to see him in the ring in a singles capacity.
Well, kind of going to see him next week. Not quite singles, but close enough.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of.
I know who wins a 6-man tag.
Yes. Whichever 3 members of the six-man tag that aired last night advanced to next week. Anyway, let's talk about last week's Impact. So Josh Alexander challenges Tijupa for the X Division Championship.
Banging match. Banging.
It actually was. It was, as they
I think
say,
it was a bit wasted on Impact, though.
I would probably agree with that. I definitely feel like this could have been good to save that for the next Impact Plus special, and then they could have built it up over the course of the month. But there's
which is March 13th. It's not even that far away.
Exactly. It's what?
Like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Maybe 2 weeks on Saturday?
Yeah. Closer to 3 weeks just now, 2 weeks on Saturday.
Yeah. So during the match, TJP continues to try and go for the Mamba Splash. So he attempts it at one point, and Alexander knocks TJP off the top. He attempts his pile driver from the top, only get pushed off. There's a third attempt at the Mamba Splash, but Alexander gets his knees up and then gets in the ankle lock. P manages to get up, so Josh attempts his pile driver again, but TJP then locks in an octopus-style submission. Josh attempts a running something, but TJP gets the detonation kick out of it and then hits the splash to retain the title. And then Striker says he will call this a sport until the day he dies.
We're just going to piss you two off.
That's more than me. Bye.
I'm not even going to go into my rant again. I've been into it like every episode for like the last month. I'm not going to go into it again.
Don't you love the sport of professional wrestling, Chris?
I do love my sport of professional wrestling.
I should think so. Dreamer gets interviewed backstage and says tonight he's going to face Moose in an old school rules match. Then Myers.
Wait a minute, Tommy Dreamer in an old school rules match? That's not happened in like a fortnight.
Correct. Well done. Myers is backstage.
Retire, Tommy.
Leave him alone.
No, so I don't want to see him end up like Mick Foley if you're struggling to walk and all that because he went too long.
To be honest, I think he did say in commentary kind of during... I think it might have been during the world title match, or like they said in commentary recently that apparently Dreamer can't put his own socks on, so he kind of plays a game of footsie with his socks to kind of get them on in the morning, which is something that I always hear is the same case with Mick Foley. So, you know, you're not really that far off when you say that.
Joe Hills is going down that route as well, Matt Hardy.
Yeah, totally.
He's been doing that route since he decided to do a diving leg drop off the top of a cage.
Aye. Yep. Pretty much since the broken gimmick started, he's been going down that route. But it kind of like his weird limp when he walks kind of worked with the broken gimmick, but not so much when he's not broken. Do you know what I mean?
Aye, when he's supposed to be big money Matt, he just looks as though he's going down to the post office to get his pension.
Aye. Exactly.
Big money! I am iconic!
Do you like this PlayStation? I like the PlayStation.
Matt Hardy's never said that.
He may have done. I reckon Jeff probably has.
Get out of my way, Sonny Jim, or else you'll be deleted! Delete!
Can we go home now? Antiques Roadshow is on.
I gotta watch me some Hoarders!
And then after Antique Roadshow, it's Countdown!
I don't know why he's watching all these don't know why he's watching all these UK-based shows. Maybe that's just to add to the quirkiness of the gimmick.
To be fair, the Great British Bake Off's pretty big in America.
Is it actually?
They talk about it in the last podcast I left all the time.
Yeah, it's got a different name over there though. It's like the Great British Bacon Show.
Aye, something like that.
Ooh, the Great British Bacon Show? That sounds delicious. So just everything.
To be fair though,
bacon?
to be fair though, the last podcast boys probably thought it was a fucking show about smoking weed when they first watched it.
Well, yeah, with a name like that. So backstage, Brian Myers is there with Hernandez. He pays up the second half of his payment for the victory at No Surrender. Then he says, "Well, you've got a match tonight against Cardona," and then Dez is like, "Right, same thing again." It's like, "Yep, half now, and then half after you win." And then once again, Ba is lurking in the background and walks up to Hernandez, and Hernandez like, "We are not doing this again." And Ba's like, "Oh, no, it's all right. I don't want your wad." And the fact that he actually used the word wad finally, because I feel like I kept using that, and I was like, I wonder if that's actually the right word I'm using. So now that I heard
cash,
now that I heard
wads of
something
cash.
else, yeah, wads of it.
What was that in?
Wads of cash.
Aye. Like, what's the reason you? What's the reason you? Oh, I might be in Boston legal. What's the reason you want to work for this law firm? Wads of cash.
Denny Craig.
Denny Craig.
You can't argue with a guy.
No, definitely right.
So, Ba says, "I'm an investor, and if you give me 20, I can give you back 40." And Dez is like, "Right, well, you know what? I'll give you 10. If you bring back 20, then we'll talk." So Ba gets really excited that he got given a free $10 for no real reason. And we'll see what happens with that later. But up next, Willie Mack, Suicide, Trey Miguel, and Daivari go at it in a 4-way contest. So Mack hits a double moonsault on Side and Trey for 2. Vari pulls Trey out the ring and then comes in with a drop kick, taking down Mack. And then this all kind of dissolves into Suicide, who takes out Daivari, and then Trey comes off the top rope with a Meteora for a win, and kind of goes backstage looking all happy with himself, only for Sami Callihan to be hanging about at the entrance and says, "Trey, you just don't have the passion that you used to have." So Trey walks away, but clearly every week, Sami Callihan is getting to him.
Yeah. It was... I think it's just going to take a while for me to get used to Trey being on his own.
Same.
Because that ring gear, I just think it looks terrible.
Yeah, like, why is he wearing a singlet but is wearing it half down? Why don't you just get the trousers that you used to have?
I get it's to try and separate himself from the Rascals, to establish himself as like a single star, but it just looks very odd.
Surely he'd I don't know the Rascals outside of them being an Impact, but surely he had gear before he joined the Rascals.
Maybe
unless maybe that's what he's wearing now, eh?
Can I say something that could be controversial?
No.
And I know Trey Miguel.
I know we're kind of tight on time, so I won't go too into it. It won't be a big conversation, but based on the very limited things that I've seen of the Rascals in Impact and what I've seen from them since they broke up, both in NXT and in Impact, I don't get it. I just don't see fucking how people would think that the three of them were going to be stars. I just don't see stars in them at all.
That's weird you say about MSK.
I just don't see it.
To be honest,
they get pushed to the moon. To the moon!
To the moon!
And won obviously the Dusty Classic, but I just don't see it at all.
I don't think, don't take this the wrong way, listeners. I don't think they're stars, like Chris says, right? But they do have an appeal.
Mm-hmm.
They're like MSK. They're not going to be fucking superstars, but you will have a good laugh with them, and they will entertain you. Like the bit that they done with Beth Phoenix on NXT. I never even watched NXT this week. I had cousins and that haven't watched wrestling for years send me that gif. Going, what's happening in wrestling? Why are they eating popcorn?
see, that was funny. I totally agree. That was hilarious. But
it's also been done before.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, again, I feel like this is one of these things that we kind of have the discussion about when it comes to Rich Swann. Of you've kind of just came in and you don't really know much about. You haven't watched them kind of grow up, essentially, or in Swann's case, go through the ranks to become world champion. But I think it just might be one of those things where it's like, see if you didn't kind of see them when they started out and then them going through Impact over the past couple of years. I mean, it's one of those kind of things where, like, in WWE, they just bring somebody that was big on the indies, and it's just like, oh, here's these guys, you know them. And then if you're one of those guys that's like, I don't know who these people are, you don't have that sudden, sort of, like, alliance that maybe someone like me would have with them, since I've pretty much seen everything the Rascals have done since they've appeared on Impact. And I mean, I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing, obviously. It's just that it probably is just what it is, and it might take a wee bit more time for kind of wrestlers like this to maybe click a bit more with you.
Even on Impact, they clearly hitched their wagon to Trey out of the three of the Rascals, but making him the solo star and the trio.
Yeah. Because he had he was having world title shots before he left.
World title shots, X Division title matches, X Division, like long running feuds.
Yeah.
Where Ace Austin was trying to bang his mum.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good time.
It was a good time. So I don't know. I will say that I'm actually surprised more at the fact that you don't get MSK than Trey, because I can totally see why you don't get Trey. Because even the thing is, like, me and Robert do know Trey a bit more, but even right now I'm like, and then we're kind of discussing it right now, is like the look that he has right now just isn't working. And I feel like he needs to kind of change something.
It might work for other people, it's just not working for me.
Yeah. But I'm totally in the same boat with you when you say that. I'm not digging the look.
Mm-hmm. But he does have nice gutties.
Oh, absolutely.
I sure do know what those are.
Traders.
Ah, okay.
A pair of gutties. You never heard that?
Is this a Scottish thing?
Yes.
Right, well, this is your Grizzlers and New Scottish Slang Word segment of the
show.
Yeah.
I live with an American, and she even knows what gutties are.
I know, because she lives with you.
To be fair,
but I said to her, pass me my gutties, eh? And she, with that thing, she just passed down my trainers. The first time I used the word in the house.
I also don't wear trainers, so.
Well, you could also, gutties are shoes.
Right.
You could apply them. You could apply Converse or a pair of gutties.
Right. Okay. So it's just shoes in general.
Aye.
Foot apparel. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Gutties. Can you use it in a sentence? He just did. Pass me over my gutties.
Or am I go nutties to gutties?
So Scott D'Amore was backstage with TJP in his office, and then Ace Austin walks in. And he says, I won the tournament at Genesis, and I still haven't got my shot yet. So Scott D'Amore says, do you know what is better than one person getting a shot? 6 people getting a shot. So he makes a 6-man tag team match for the next show, where the winning 3 participants will go at it in a triple threat match the following week to determine the number 1 contender for the X Division Championship. Those 6 competitors get announced later on, so we'll get to that. Hernandez takes on Matt Cardona, and Matt Cardona is now being announced as Always Ready Matt Cardona, and it's like, that doesn't work. Always Ready can't be a nickname.
I want to make him out to the Baywatch music.
Always ready, always ready.
Why not? I'm not against that happening.
He's just for that license.
Ah. Well, technically that would be a parody, so you may be able to get away with it for free. So Cardona dives over the top rope and kind of just stops and sits on Hernandez's back after he lands on him. So he's just kind of sitting there while Hernandez is like kind of hunched over. He's like, I'm stuck. So he kind of wriggles off and then starts to get in the face of Myers. Cardona tries to go for radio silence, but Dez just beasts through it. Dez goes for the border toss, but Cardona scoots out and then hits radio silence again, or attempts radio silence again and connects. Boom, it's over, and Hernandez loses. Cardona starts to cut a promo, and Myers comes in and starts berating him. This allows Dez to get in and attack from behind. Then Edwards out for the save. Then Myers gets dinked in the eye by Cardona and then runs off. So, backstage after that, Havoc and Nevaeh, they are there, and backstage, as I just said. And they seem to be questioning themselves as a tag team. Tenille Dashwood shows up and says, I wasn't eavesdropping, but I did hear everything that you said. And Dashwood tries to recruit Havoc, just like, I think somebody might need a new tag team partner.
Since when did you become fucking for London?
I was going to say, you sound like Liza Doolittle for My Fair Lady.
Because I can't do accents, alright? Fuck you.
Alright, governor.
You alright, governor?
So then...
Doody then. In fact, that was actually more Australian, wasn't it?
I need to watch
the apples and pears.
I need to watch more Amazing Race then. God damn it. I thought I was starting to get really good at the Australian accent. So, Nevaeh's like, yeah, I'm standing right here. And she says, you weren't invited to this conversation. And then Caleb's like, it's Tenille Dashwood. She's invited everywhere. Have you seen her IG? And Nevaeh's like, okay, well, I invite you out to the ring right now. And so the next match is Reno Scum versus Finjuice. So I guess that's not happening right now.
I fucking hate that name.
Finjuice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I kind of hate the tag team because why is Juice Robinson dressed up like a total loser now?
Right, so are you asking me?
Right. Chris, let's give Robert his little moment to shine here. So, Robert, why is Juice Robinson dressed up like a total moron now?
The look he's going for is Jake Blue from the Blues Brothers.
Well, he failed with that for a start.
That's what the wee suit is, but he's put his own flamboyant twist on it. The reason he chose that look is because he's from Joliet, Illinois, which is where, in the film The Blues Brothers, Jake served his time in prison and received the nickname of Joliet Jake.
I didn't ask for a perfectly reasonable explanation. I just asked you to get busy.
So yeah, just to give you guys a heads up, right?
We're really horny after that.
No, we're trialing a live stream just now. It's not actually gone live. I'm just recording it and like playing about with stuff. That's why I'm so quiet because I'm like because we might not might be we are going to be live streaming soon. So I literally just caught you, Robert. I just switched over to your camera just in time to see you do that dance.
Oh, do you mean the white boy twerk? You don't actually move your arse, you just move your back up and down and your shoulders.
Using my back, I remember that. I should mention.
I could do a tribute to a cover of that song, My Neck, My Back.
My balls, my back, my pussy and my hole.
No,
I'm old.
Disappointed that they didn't use their New Japan music for their entrance.
Oh, is that not their New Japan music? Because I was about to say that music's terrible.
They come out to Juice's theme,
Oh, that one's even worse. I'm glad that they have this new music. Sorry, I mean, you always knew that wasn't a fan of Juice, so, like...
He's getting better.
I just hate his face. His face annoys me.
When you watch him in context in New Japan, it makes sense.
It probably does. Like, more so than just dipping in and out, as I tend to do. So they set up for their double team finisher where Finn gets a superplex off the top, then a splash from Robinson to get the Vin. Oh, they get the Vin. Fucking hell. The Grid brothers are out, and then they start calling them young boys. Then they invite them out for a few brewskis. Then Finn Juice are like, oh yeah, let's drink. And then Finlay says, oh yeah, we'll buy the first round, just as long as Carl Anderson doesn't pass out before midnight or wake up covered in his own pee-pee.
Was that a reference to him cheating on his wife?
No, I'm going to assume once he passed out early and pissed himself while he was asleep.
All right.
Because they make another kind of reference like that on Impact this week, where the Good Brothers are speaking to them backstage, and it's like, oh yeah, we're like the best wrestlers ever. I mean, look, we're the tag team champions, and then just Robinson really gets this really long, strung out thing. Like, oh yeah, yous are the best in-ring competitors at professional wrestling ever. Hungover, and then walks away. And then Carl Anderson's like, I'm not even hungover this week. And then Carlos goes, yeah, I am though.
Yeah.
So I don't know what this is meant to be exactly, because they keep making jabs at Carl Anderson that piss him off, and Gallows is like, no, it's okay. But it's going to come to a head eventually. So we then get into the segment that Chris kind of ran down on the last episode of Rohit Raju and Shira and the pub.
That was fucking great.
Where Rohit starts blaming Shira for him losing the X Division title. He then bumps into Storm and then starts arguing with him. And then Storm smashes a beer bottle over Rohit's head. Then starts squaring up to Shira. Then the barmaid asks him to leave. And so he's like, we're going to leave anyway. So he puts down some money on the table. Then the swingman walks in and invites him to Swinger's Palace. And then Storm and Sabre are like, yeah, let's go. So they leave. And then Swingman's about to leave, and he turns around and steals the money that Storm gave the barmaid. He's like, ha, some kizash. Yeah, daddy.
Because he's a total fucking carny.
He just fucking swipes it. And then the barmaid's standing like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't know, if that was a real barmaid, she would have pocketed that the second it went on the table. Then they go to Swinger's Palace. Sabin is absolutely enthralled with the place, loves it. Storm, then pretty drunk, asks Alicia if she's Beyonce, and then starts asking her to rap. And then he cuts a rap of his own. And then they're all joined by Falaba, who brings in the $10 that Hernandez gives him, places a bet, and then loses immediately.
Are they really doing like a gambling addiction story?
It would appear that way.
I mean, I don't think it's been done before.
It probably has.
I think it's, to be honest, again, this is all going on to the fact that I just watched this week's Impact before we came on. I feel like, obviously, Swinger's Palace is meant to be rigged. I mean, that's been implied many a time.
Aye, it's the Vegas rule of the house always wins.
Yeah, so I think that's why it's like Ba is getting screwed out of his money.
It's still a gambling addiction, though, because he keeps doing it.
Yeah, but he's getting screwed out of it deliberately because, as Lish kind of says after this, like, you not see Ba as hurting? And then Swigger says, oh, yeah, you don't know hurting until you get crabs from somebody's ex in 1986 or whatever. And then everybody just goes, and kind of turns around, and there's even a record crash and goes, and everybody just kind of stares at him. He's like, yeah, daddy.
I thought this scene was great though. I love this place.
And then he does it again this week.
This week's was even better. It's like, we're not getting kicked out of here. This is my favourite place in the world. All that was missing was a fuck Disneyland.
That would have been perfect. It's like, this place is better than Disneyland. Like, see if it was just some stupid, like, Sabian goes, I've been there 26 times, and this place is, 26 times better than that.
Just to be like... They worked at... Well, I was going to say they worked at Disneyland. That's a lie. They worked at Universal Studios.
So he's very close to Disneyland, so he's probably there a lot.
It's not that far away.
But, like, that would have been perfect, because... that would have been perfect, because he was like, oh, man, I used to work in Universal Studios. That was only a short travel away from Disneyland, and that would have been a nice little sort of... Remember when we used to be in the Impact Zone? Remember the Impact Zone? That was great.
Those were the days.
Wherever they go.
Yeah. I know, exactly. Now this is the Impact Zone. It's like, no, there's only one Impact Zone. Tenille Dashwood took on Nevaeh. Dashwood had the advantage for most of the match as Caleb with a K interfered early on. Nevaeh finally comes back and gets a faceplant for 2. But Dash backs her in the corner. Hits a Taste of Tenille is actually the name of the crossbody she does in the corner, although I still like the Dashemite sandwich that I named it the other week. Hits the spotlight kick and gets the victory.
Meh.
Yeah, there's a violent by design promo. That's really about that. Susan wants to fight Jazz backstage, but Deonna tries to calm her down. She then goes to Scott Demore and says, I think Kimber and Susan should get a shot at the tag titles. So Scott Demore says, do you know what's better than one person going for the belts? 2? So how about next week, Kimber and Susan take on Jordan Grace and Jazz, and then Susan's just kind of standing there pondering. She just goes, and then runs off.
I think we spoke about this in the last week's episode as well.
It did. I was about to mention this was the part that started to endear you to Susan.
Yeah, totally.
So they announced the matches for next week. So Diener versus Jake something in a tables match, and Willie Mack, Trey Miguel, and Josh Alexander will take on Chris Bay, Ace Austin, and Black Taurus. And the winner of that match will go into a three-way match the following week to determine a new X Division Championship #1 contender. So Moose versus Tommy Dreamer, old school rules. Moose sends Dreamer into the post, then rakes his eyes. Dreamer chokes Moose with his bandana and then starts biting Moose's forehead. We come back from the ads and Dreamer has a chair around his neck and then gets thrown into the ring post. That escalated quickly. Moose beats down Dreamer with cookie sheets, trash can lids, and the likes. Then Dreamer goes for the ball claw. Moose goes in a trash can that he set up in the corner. Dreamer hits a cutter and only gets 1 out of it. Moose sets up a table and Dreamer spears him through it. Dreamer, with his kendo stick, gets a few shots in until Moose hits the Uranage, hits the spear.
Uranage.
I was going to try and just batter through it. And it's over. Moose beats Dreamer. I can't say I'm surprised.
I certainly didn't see that coming.
Moose.
So, at this point, obviously, we can kind of maybe take aspects of this week's Impact into account while we talk about it. So, where do you think we're going with this? Because I'm pretty sure I would say that Moose versus Rich Swann has to happen at Rebellion, not at the next pay-per-view.
No,
and
it's not happening at Rebellion.
Yeah. Big, proper, actual pay-per-view that people will pay to see.
Yeah. Well, we know where it goes. Do you know what's hilarious? See, every time you blow your blow the smoke, your vape.
You want the smoke?
see every time you blow the vape out, you disappear off the screen. It's hilarious.
It's almost like you're a magician.
And poof, he's gone.
What did you call me?
That's exactly why
just call you Mr. Crowley.
Mr. Crowley. Ah, yes, because he used to get railed up the bum and stuff.
He was a power bottom.
So
I don't think we're watching the same Supernatural.
Maybe they toned it down a little bit in Supernatural. Or maybe you're just thinking about a different Crowley.
Oh, yeah, you definitely are.
Yeah. Oh, wait, unless it was maybe that Supernatural porn parody I watched and realised it was just all, Sam and Dean lookalikes just going at it for hours. I'm like, I'm pretty sure there was a couple of good-looking chicks in Supernatural. When did they come in? So I watched it for about 45 minutes before I realised the chicks never came. The chicks never came!
To be fair, though, Sam and Dean are pretty hot, man. I would watch that for 45 minutes. I'd be quite happy.
Probably.
Dean is delicious. Sam's a little bitch.
Oh, be careful. Don't insult them, because then we'll get all the Supernatural fangirls. It's like, actually, I think you'll find that he was even more brave than Dean ever was. He went to hell or something like that. One of them went to hell.
Aye, Dean was stuck in purgatory.
Probably that.
Dean became a demon.
I think I can see Kat glaring at me from the living room.
Because I said Sam's a little bitch.
Yeah, I mean, she does love Dean more, but she'll probably still defend Sam to the death.
We've all got a different horse in this house when it comes to Supernatural. Ben likes Sam, I like Dean, and Amanda loves Castiel.
Oh yeah, Castiel's the best. Hey, ass butt! Ass butt! That's literally the extent of my Supernatural knowledge is, hey, ass butt! And when Dean drops his pants, it goes, pudding!
So you've not seen the episode starring The Miz?
I did actually watch bits and pieces of that, and I don't get why they didn't do a thing where they were, like, Dean and Miz walked up to each other and they started doing the whole twins thing, because I think they look really alike.
Yeah, they're very similar.
And then the lead singer of Skillet just walks in, and then they're like, because he also looks like the two of them, obviously.
Right, tangent over.
Yes. Really lost its way a little there.
Yeah, we really did.
Anyway, so that was your Supernatural rundown of all 15 seasons in 5 minutes by me, the Griz. The only highlights. I know, because the thing is, I haven't even seen the Scooby-Doo episode, and I felt like that would have been something I would have went out of my way to watch.
I've not got there yet. I'm on season 11 just now. I'm about to watch them as episode.
Awesome. Didn't even mean that.
Yeah, you did.
I actually didn't. Okay, so speaking of, let's kick into AEW Dynamite.
Pew pew.
Pew 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 pew
Pew pew 8, blocking out the hate.
Don't know why I kept doing that, because I've stopped the live stream now, so. But
it's I think what we're doing is we're very much trying to get our we're being recorded kind of act on right now.
Yeah, totally.
Definitely on my, and I've even admitted this on podcast before, like when I'm doing the turnbuckle arms with everybody else, I do like go out of my way to be more animated while I know that I'm being recorded and this is getting put on YouTube, just for something for people to watch sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I always feel like that, and I feel like that's totally what we'll be like. We'll have visual gags. I mean, we always have visual gags, even when it's audio, and we always go, yeah, that's good content for listeners.
Yeah. Great radio.
Yep.
Let me know when we are recording videos so that I can do my face.
And put clothes on.
Yes, I'm dressed like a hoe.
Well, no, that one time where you were just sitting there like your underwear.
Oh yeah.
I think I get safe to say that Robert's the Henry Zabrowski of this podcast.
What's a Henry Zabrowski?
It's our last podcast on the left joke. One of the guys on it, Henry, like they're always
handsome.
they're always like he lives in LA, and well, actually Ben lives in LA as well now, but Marcus still lives in New York, so they do all their podcasts like via Skype or via digital recording anyway, and Henry's apparently always basically naked. There is lots of going on.
Yeah, they're just sitting there. They're just sitting there. It's like I can hear you just slapping your big, fat, meaty chest like a fucking baboon.
Okay, Griz, you would be the Ben, and I'm clearly the Marcus. Anyway, let's move on.
So AEW last week started with Adam Page, who recently hired a shady legal team, teaming up with Matt Hardy to take on, already in the ring, TH2. Now, this was originally meant to be an 8-man tag, but, you know, now TH2 have to job again because that's what they're useful for. Hi, Snackies.
Any reason why it get changed?
It was meant to be Page and Hangman and Private Party against Chaos Project and TH2. And by the looks of the things at the end of this match, I don't think Mark Quinn was in the building. What? What is it? Can you hear him?
Tackle.
Yeah. He's just pretty like, I don't even know what he's doing. He's just kind of jumping up on my lap, like just like pausing on the lap, like, pay attention to me. And it's like, I'm busy, buddy. Stop it. It's all right, buddy. I'll be here. So TH2 get the early advantage when Angelico makes a blind tag and then kicks Hardy right in the noodle. Thanks.
Tackle butthole.
Yeah. Hangman is in, hits a follow-away slam and a crossbody onto both the TH2. Page hits a powerbomb on Angelico. Evans flies off the top and gets powerbombed onto Angelico. Hangman goes for the buckshot, but Hardy gets the blind tag. TH2 get the advantage to start double teaming Hardy. Hangman comes in, hits a double buckshot, and Hardy connects with the twist of fate. And then gets the victory. Then they start to discuss the contract that Hangman Page signed last week, where Hardy says, right, I get 30% of your profits, Hangman. Then Hangman brings a giant cat mascot to show Hardy the contract because he says, oh, so you didn't read that contract I signed, did you? And he's like, no, I put it in an envelope and sent it straight to my lawyer. And it's like, oh, I'm assuming that you probably snuck in a couple of little like bonuses and a couple of little things here and there. That's all good. No worries. So this is why they bring out the mascot. So the mascot brings out the contract and Matt Hardy reads it and says, wait, this isn't a contract about you signing with my group. This is a contract for a match at Revolution with me against you. And if you win, you get the earnings of the first 3 months of 2001. And so Matt Hardy's like, right, if we're going to have this match, then you need to put something on the line too. So how about you also put your first 3 months of earning, or the first quarter, as they say, on the line, and it's winner take all. And so Hangman agrees. Then the mascot starts attacking Hangman Page. Hangman then offers a large lump sum to TH2, which I think was about 300 grand or 360 or something weird like that.
It was $3,700.
Which is a random amount. Why don't you just round that up to 400?
Because they're probably just saying that to maybe sound accurate, because that's maybe the money he had on him.
Maybe. I only travel in multiples. Uh, so TH2 get back in and they all start to attack. And then that's when the mascot is revealed to be Isaiah Cassidy. So the Dark Order, the entire faction, come in to make the save. And the match is set for Revolution. I can't say I'm looking too forward to this.
No.
As I say, I think Big Money Matt's a pretty decent character, but see, as soon as he steps in the ring, that's when the interest goes for me.
Hurry up, Hangman, and just join the Dark Order.
Oh.
It's clear that they actually like you.
Yeah. I haven't shown you yet, but I'll show you at some point. I did get my t-shirts. So backstage there was an Inner Circle promo, and MJF and Jericho look annoyed as Pride and Powerful talk about their match coming up. MJF calls out Sammy about MJF recording him, and then Jericho tells Max to shut up. Jericho says MJF kept goating him on, and that's MJF's fault. But you know what? It's mostly Sammy's fault, because Sammy is the one that decided to leave the Inner Circle. So Jericho says, as far as Sammy Guevara goes, he's dead to me.
I'm getting really confused now with this. Like, they know what MJF was doing. Why isn't MJF being punished?
It's kind of one of these things where Inner Circle say that they watch Dynamite when it's convenient to the storyline, and when they don't watch Dynamite is when MJF is doing all this weird shit.
No, but the thing is, they say they watch it, right? And then they say, look, we know what you've done. We know what you were doing. You are winding Sammy up to the point where now he's left. Why is there no repercussions on MJF?
Yeah.
Well, I say that. There will be at Revolution. Guaranteed Sammy costs him the match.
Yeah, probably.
And then we get MJF versus Sammy at Double or Nothing.
Let's do it. I like it. So on YouTube, which aired on Monday, Tanara Conte will take on Nyla Rose. Britt Baker will take on Anna Jay. No, she won't. She takes on Mari Winkowski instead. Yuka. Jesus Christ, let's take that one again. Yuka Sakazaki takes on Emi Sakura, and Aja Kong takes on Ryo Mizunami. That all happened on YouTube a few nights ago. Obviously, those of you that watched it know the winners. However, we will discuss that in the next episode. Bang.
And the dirt is gone.
Don't start me with that, because then I'll sing the Sill It Bang rave song. Sill it bang, sill it bang, sill it bang. Look what it does to this penny. Look what it does to this penny. Good as new, good as new, good as new.
Right, question. The picture that I sent in the group chat with the rundown of Dynamite tonight, it has Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose.
Yes, because that match has happened.
Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose.
Oh, Take Conte versus Nyla Rose happened on YouTube on Monday.
And so did Britt Baker versus that other person.
That thing.
That thing.
Classy, Robert.
I didn't know. It's bad wording. That person.
Yes, the second two quarterfinal matches happened on YouTube already. So,
for fuck's sake.
Nyla Rose takes on Britt Baker in a semi-final match.
Oh, it's another Griz versus Robert.
Yep. And coming up is the wild card versus Griz match as Serena Deeb takes on Riho in an American qualifier.
America! Fuck yeah!
And at this point, obviously, I am now out of the Japanese bracket, but I'm still completely in the American bracket because I have Riho and Anna Jay. And as we mentioned earlier, Anna Jay is now injured, which meant that AEW Dark Jobber, Manny Winkowski, was my replacement. And I'm sure you can all guess how that went when I say that she's AEW Jobber. And as Chris just said, Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose happens tonight. So that would imply
that was Robert that said that, not me.
Sorry, Robert.
That wasn't me, that was Chris that said that.
Sorry, Robert. Chris.
No, it was definitely Robert.
Sorry, Chris. Robert.
Moving on!
So which means that Riho, as of right now, whether you want to look at this as if we were talking about this a week ago or right now, Riho is my one and only chance to win this tournament now. How does she do in her first round match? Let's find out. So Deeb goes for a brain buster, but Riho fights out. Riho gets a crossbody, which gets countered by Deeb, and then looks for a figure four. Riho fights out of that. But Deeb then gets a dragon screw and a neck breaker for 2. That rhymes. That's fun. Riho with the 619 and then a double stomp from the top. Then follows up with a crossbody for 2. Deeb hits another dragon screw to the knee, and then puts the stretch muffler in, working on the knee. Riho gets a roll up and a bridging suplex for 2. Riho then hits another double stomp for 2. Riho misses the running knee, and Deeb almost hits her detox finisher. Then there was just a series of back and forth pinfalls, resulting in Riho finally getting the winning pinfall with the 1-2-3, and Riho stays alive, and so do my chances of winning this tournament.
For me, this was match of the week. I fucking really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, you absolutely gushed over this match as soon as it happened. You were like, Deeb versus Riho was like, I can't remember if you said women's match of the year or just TV match of the year or something along those lines.
I can't remember what I said either, but it was definitely overall match of the week. Women's match of the year, very possibly. I thought it was fucking outstanding.
Well, when you have two absolutely amazing workers like those two, it's not really a surprise.
Yeah, totally.
I would love to go back and watch the uncut version because this week I did have, one of those TNT feeds that kept cutting to adverts, so I missed a big chunk of the match because of adverts or commercials.
Was it not picture-in-picture? Restaurant quality picture-in-picture?
Yeah, but I'm not a big fan of...
the adverts distract me as well.
Yeah. Like, I prefer like a steak rather than picture-in-picture. Like, I feel like the picture-in-picture's a bit...
See, I would watch Dynamite on Fight TV, no problem. I'd quite happily pay the $5 a month for it. But it stopped working on my Fire Stick. I don't know why, but Fight TV app will not work at all. So, like, no point paying a $5 when I can't fucking watch it.
I just feel like it...
Broadcast.
I feel like I can make better picture-in-picture at home, to be honest.
Yeah. It's like steak.
I don't need to go to a restaurant for picture-in-picture. Like, I can make a good one at home.
I just hate all the fucking vaping propaganda.
Oh, yeah, no. I discovered something. This is not wrestling related whatsoever, but it's restaurant quality related. Okay. See, in my drunken state on Monday, after I started drinking again, on Sunday, I discovered that fucking... See if you get the wee cheap pizzas out of like Tesco or something like the wee like 30 pence ones.
Uh-huh.
Right? Then put your own cheese on it with like some onion and maybe like some... just various toppings, fucking chicken or something like that, and make it in the air fryer. Oh dear fucking lord.
An air fryer pizza?
It is the drunk food of the gods.
Air fryer's a game changer.
Oh yeah.
Air fryers are the best, but I will say I was about to say I've never tried putting pizza in the air fryer. That's a complete lie. Restaurant quality pizzas that I've purchased and not finished, I then make in the air fryer the next day. It really livens the pizza. Sometimes.
Oh, honestly.
those times where you put restaurant bought pizza in the microwave the next day and it goes all floppy and weird. Stick it in the air fryer, it actually revives it back to almost its original status. It's incredible.
Or just eat pizza cold the next day like a normal person.
I've also done that as well, but sometimes
air fryers are also a godsend for reheating a munchie box the next day. Usually a munchie box is unsalvageable, but an air fryer.
Yep.
I'm still coming to terms with my air fryer. I'm still not confident in timings.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where it does take time to so you just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I bought one of the George Foreman indoor barbecues. That's a game changer as well.
Ooh, now that's interesting.
Yeah, shit hot, man. It's nearly the best 60 quid I've spent. I made a full fry up this morning on it in less than 15 minutes. So good. Just cook everything in one go.
Nice. You've got my attention. Send me a link for one of those bad boys.
Next time you're up, I'll eat breakfast on it the next day so you can see it in all its glory.
Wrestle breakfast.
Wrestle breakfast 6.
In the mix.
A Berby fruit pudding.
I can make that happen. I'm not a fan of it, so you can have all the fruit pudding, but I'd make that happen.
Indeed. That's what I was about to say. You can have my fruit pudding as well.
I love fruit pudding.
I did try it. I really did, and it was just
it's not for me. I'm not even a huge fan of black pudding. I'll have it if it's in a fry up, but I don't see if I buy a breakfast pack and it's got black pudding in it, I'll make the black pudding and I'll eat it, but I don't go into the shop and buy black pudding.
Yeah. Butcher's black pudding is definitely the best black pudding.
Yeah, where my dad's caravan is.
Black pudding is the best black pudding.
What was that? Black pudding's just the...
Yeah, you just got me.
Yeah,
you just beat me slightly to it. Where my dad's caravan is, there's a butcher there, and basically all the black puddings is just named by the town that it's made in. So you can go in and you're like, oh, can I get a Dornoch or a Stornoway, whatever, and it's all shit hot. But Stornoway is the most expensive one because it's the nicest.
Yeah, there's a butcher down near me, and my dad asked me once, can you go in there and ask for black pudding? And he's like, I got confused as to what he was asking for, but he mentioned 20 quid, so I just thought he wanted 20 quid's worth of black pudding. So I went in and it was just like, how much black pudding did I get for 20 bones? Stornoway, obviously. And there's you get about that much. So he was like, he holds up one and then points to about 3/4 of the other. And it's like, okay, I'll just go for that. And he just goes, you know what? It'll be easier. I'll just give me your 20 quid. There you go. Just give me 2 full Stornoway black puddings. And then I was like, right, I got your Stornoway black pudding. I managed to get 2 big ones for 20 quid. And he's like, I didn't ask for 20 quid's worth of black pudding. And it's like, didn't you? Because that's what I took it as, and that's what I got you. And then he goes, oh, you're lucky I love it, so I'll let you away with it.
Fucking postman, can't get anything right.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Apparently not, because I can't even bend over these days without throwing my fucking back out and needing other schlubs to fucking do my job for me.
I've got a wee sook here just now, so sorry I keep looking down, but
that's alright.
Hey, no biting. No, what happens when you bite? That happens when you bite. Baited me in there by being all cute. I put my hand down and then
don't make me get the hose again.
I don't even need to spray him anymore. I just wiggle the water bottle in front of him and he's like, ah!
Yeah, now he knows what that is, and now he'll be wary of that. But anyway, back to some professional wrestling. There's Jade.
Professional wrestling?
Oh, there's a lot more professional wrestling, good sir.
The sport of professional wrestling?
Sport indeed. The sport of it. There's a Jade and Shaq VT. Shaq looks like an idiot pulling dumb faces, and then they play basketball.
Jade looks like a fucking beast. And I mean that in the most appreciative way possible.
Complimentive way possible.
Aye.
And I think she would she would very much appreciate that that as well. That kind of comment.
I think, say with the right training, I think she'll be a fucking star.
Yeah, all she needs to... Well, to be honest, she has the look right now. We don't know how she wrestles. We're going to see that a week today on March 3rd. So maybe this is a conversation we go back to on March 3rd, or more so the episode after March 3rd when we've seen that match. I will say right now, her mic skills need work, but if she can pull off a decent match, then that might be the only thing that she needs to pull off at this point. Mm-hmm. So I think it's all really going to come down to next week, because I do feel like Jade and Red Velvet are going to be the bulk of this match. And considering Red Velvet isn't exactly, a veteran of the business, that's what is going to make this match kind of interesting, because how much is Cody going to be able to carry Shaq through a match?
Does it happen that Cody gets replaced?
Oh, don't. Not at this point.
But you didn't think of that, did you?
Should we just talk about it now that you've brought it up?
Might as well. I was waiting for this point to bring it up so we could talk about it.
Right. So, at this point, on Wednesday, it was announced just a little over an hour or two ago that what is thy large production doing in the Elite Zone?
Yes, so Paul White is now All Elite.
I didn't even know his contract was up with WWE.
I know he just wrestled at WrestleMania.
Very quiet.
In the secret main event.
Yeah. He always said, though, that when he left WWE, it would be they didn't want a song and dance, so... Fair play.
He could barely move.
Well, hopes are now up for him finally getting his match with Shaq that was supposed to have 4 years ago.
I think that was Dallas, wasn't it? You were supposed to have that?
Yeah, 32.
Yeah.
I mean, the closest we got to it was when Shaq entered the
Battle Royal that year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, was it not supposed to be in Orlando, 33? And because they absolutely fucked that at WrestleMania, because they threw up Shaq on the Tron about 20 seconds before he came out.
Oh no!
Because it was one of those things where the four of us saw it, we kind of looked at each other and we were like, did that just say Shaq? And I was like, yep. I'm like, I can't remember who it was that was still fucking making their way to the ring at the time. But basically they threw up the Tron for him before the music hit and before the guy that was entering the Battle Royal, I can't remember who it was even entering the Battle Royal, but even got to the ring. It's like Shaq behind him.
Yeah, it would have been one of the favourites, because normally they just flag everybody in at once.
Yeah.
Then give an entrance to 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Did DDP
Might
not
have been
end
Braun,
up
actually.
here?
It might have been Braun.
Maybe. Because, weren't they eliminated at the same time? Braun and Shaq?
Yeah, possibly.
Braun wasn't in that match, I don't think.
Wasn't he?
Did Braun not show up with the Wyatt family because Rowan get beat off the rock that
That's
night?
right, yeah. No, actually, I don't think Braun was in the Wyatt family at that point.
He was.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah, he would have been. Oh, it might actually just be the most obvious person possible, the Big Show. I can't remember, but...
DDP, because DDP was in it that year as well.
Yeah, I need to watch it back to see who it was, but it was bad. It was the whole stadium was like, well, there's Shaq coming out.
Or you could have, if you had a wee bit of dyslexia, you could have thought it was Shad coming back.
Aww.
Rest the soul.
Rest
Indeed.
in peace.
Everybody, quick drink for Shad.
I've no alcohol in front of me, so I'll just go.
Okay,
That's been about a year almost, hasn't it?
Not far off it, because it was during the original lockdown, I'm sure.
Yeah. It was, pretty sure it was Revolution, actually. When, just before that, when they done the Shad and Hana Kimura kind of tributes to them during the show.
Hana Kimura died in May, so that would have been Double or Nothing.
Pretty sure Hard and Shad.
It was definitely Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Because during the first week of the Japanese bracket, Excalibur said the date that Hana Kimura had passed, and it was like May 23rd or 24th or something.
Yeah, but Shad was only about a week or two out of that, so...
So it would have been in May?
Yeah, so we're a little off that, but I knew there was a pay-per-view where they kind of gave tribute to both of them on that night. So it must have been, as you said, double or nothing.
Hold on. Yeah, May 17th, Shad passed away.
Yeah. And then I'm pretty sure, like...
Hana Kimura was the following week.
Yeah. Within the week, probably. Sorry. Well, we'll move on from that just now. So, Orange Cassidy took on Luther. So this is what Luther got to do instead of being in the 8-man tag earlier on in the night. Although I really wish he was there so that TH2 didn't have to job. Maybe Luther could have done it. So, Orange Cassidy comes out to the Best Friends theme again, so I guess he's dropped that whole singles theme that he's had.
It's probably...
They're the best friends just now until Trent gets back.
Yeah, probably because Trent's out injured.
Sorry, who?
Trent?
There you go. So, already in the ring, Luther. So Serpentico starts attacking Chuck at ringside, and this is when Orange Cassidy and Luther are fighting outside the ring, and then Serpentico and Chuck get in the ring, and then they start fighting. And then Serpentico does a dive out onto Chuck. Luther hits a powerbomb and gets a deep 2 count out of that. Luther attempts another powerbomb, this time on the apron, but Cassidy slides out and bombs Luther on the floor. Chuck hits the awful waffle on Serpentico, and then Orange Cassidy hits the punch for the victory, Orange style.
Meh.
Yep, it was certainly a match that was there. And arguably the worst in Orange Cassidy's career, and not even because it was any of his fault. Sorry,
say since the Jericho feud, I've just completely lost interest in Orange Cassidy.
Because he's not doing anything?
Yeah, I think the problem is the Jericho feud was as high as he could go at that point, and it's like, well, the next stage now, he's just feuding with Jericho. You need to start having him treading water round about the title picture, the main event, well, not the main event picture because he was there with Jericho, but round about the title picture, and they just haven't done that. What they should have done is after the Jericho feud, if they weren't going to put him in the world title picture, put the TNT title on him, is what they should have done.
Agreed.
And then you can have him run with the TNT title for 6 or 7 months if you don't have anything instantly to put him in the main event. Do you know what I mean?
That's totally what he needed. Because, I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Like, that was a big, that was second from the top. Even the Momosa Mayhem match was second from the top at
All Out.
Thank you. And then, like, after he won that, he didn't do anything. He just started treading water and he was just in the corner of Best Friends while they were doing stuff. He barely has wrestled since then.
I mean, they did have 2 title matches against Mr. Brody Lee.
Yeah, but other than that,
since like October, September, October last year, he's kind of just floundered.
Which is really disappointing that's what's happened, to be honest, because he was getting up there, and now, like, obviously, as you kind of say, there's not much in it right now for him.
No, there isn't.
And you can't keep doing this stopping and starting with people, because the next time they start to want to do something with him, like, we might just not be anywhere near as interested as we were.
Mm-hmm.
And we're kind of talking about that now, and nothing is happening with him right now.
Yeah.
Although, I would say that I would probably back him in a match against Miro, where he just gets absolutely fucking slaughtered. that would give us some sympathy towards him.
So, to be honest, at this point, I'd clap for Miro.
Maybe this will be the start of the big rise they used to seem to be endorsing for Miro that I just don't see happening yet.
They need to build him up a bit more. And they need to have him just start squashing people. Book him the way that they originally booked Rusev, and you're on to a winner. Yeah.
That's all it takes. It's just, as I say, the first thing that Miro needs to do is get rid of Kip. And then I might be completely on board of the Miro train. But until that happens, I'm going to be skeptical about it. So after this, Team Taz come out. Well, Taz, Cage, and Hook come out. And then there's a kind of camera sweep across the crowd. And you see Billy Gunn's kid, Austin, taking pictures on his phone.
Cool.
Like a big mark.
Oh, he has a big fucking mark.
I mean, I know he is, but like, I feel like
he's a wrestler. Wrestlers are the biggest marks of them all. There's such big marks, they became wrestlers.
Yeah, but I feel like normally when you use that sentence, wrestlers are the biggest marks in wrestling, it's normally because they're a big mark for themselves, not for other wrestlers.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, fair.
But Taz says, we're down a few men because of the weather. And then he says, because Sting sent his snow down south, which was a brilliant line. Then he calls out Sting. Taz says, oh, you made a big mistake stepping in here, and you'll need that bat against all of us. So Sting drops the bat and then starts attacking Cage. So Hook then grabs the bat, starts choking Sting with it, and then that gives Cage just enough time to get the advantage, and then has a fucking powerbomb on Sting. Call me shocked.
Yeah.
Because I know he's going into a fucking street fight in about 2 weeks. But Jesus fucking Christ, I was not expecting him to be taking moves like that. I was expecting him to get dinked on the head by some, like cookie sheets or like a chair lately or something like that. I wasn't expecting him to be taking full impact moves these days.
Especially the move that injured him in the first place.
Yeah. Well, I bet he was probably going to be like, right, don't do that into the corner river again.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if Seth even done the buckle bomb that much since then.
Not so much. I feel like now it's kind of
that's what took Balor out as well when he won the Universal title. It was the buckle bomb, but onto the guardrail.
Yeah, so he's actually unintentionally injured 2 people with it, and I specify the word unintentional before anybody gets mad at me.
Well, Bret Hart fucking hates him.
Yeah, I was about to say Bret Hart fucking despises him.
Bret, if you're listening, build a bridge and get over
Which I assume you are.
Yeah, of course.
Well, Bret, if you're listening, don't listen to Griz. Because Bret's the best and can't do no wrong.
Hold on, wait a minute. Are we talking about Bret or Brett?
Brett? And then JR ends this segment saying, I know what I'm going to be doing March 7th. And it's like, oh, yeah, JR, you'll be working.
Yeah.
I would have got a bit of a better pop for that.
Ah!
It was more the...
Laugh.
I believe it's very soon before JR makes the biggest mistake he's made in a while.
Mm-hmm. It is very shortly, yes.
Yep.
But before that, there's a King Stun promo. I just call him King. Because he says that he wanted this match, the 6-man tag, because he has problems with all the men on the opposite side of the ring. He's got problems with Archer, still stemming from the Battle Royal. He's got problems with Phoenix because he says, I never wanted you in the family. I wanted Pentagon, and you happened to come along with it. And then Mock's like, I can't get rid of you with booze. I can't get rid of you with money. I can't get rid of you with women. So you know what, old friend, I'm just going to have to beat you out of my life. So then we cut back to JR and Co. as he says, and now here's a back with a WWE champion, Kenny Omega. And then we cut to a Kenny Omega skit, and then you could tell that JR just went, "Ah, shit, what company am I in?"
It's not that, man. It's, see on Twitter, it's how casual he was about it. It's like live TV, heat the moment, you know what happens. It's like, you never make this many mistakes in WWE. Like, in your prime in WWE, ever. Like, I love JR.
Yeah,
I think JR is one of the all-time greats, but...
And he was live every week.
Yeah, I really think it's time for him to go.
I mean...
He's commentating on a product he doesn't understand, for a start.
At least he understands AEW a bit more than he did when he fucking done New Japan. See the amount of mistakes he made there, and even the mistakes he made when it was a taped product. Never mind the stuff that they done live. Next up, Tomohiro Ishii's going to face Will Ospreay. And then Zack Sabre Jr.'s on screen when Will Ospreay's already wrestled a match that night.
Yeah.
And then they have to come back from commercial and be like, I'm sorry, before the commercial I said Will Ospreay when I actually meant Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah, and he's doing that from his fucking house. Probably. Do you know what I mean?
No, that one was live in the arena.
Okay, fair enough.
But
was that his last one that he done?
That was the US title 2-night tournament.
Oh, so it would have been the following year then. Jay White was defending it against Juice, and White threw him into the guardrail where the English commentary team were, and it was because it was an Access TV special. It was Jim Ross and Josh Barnett were the commentators. And he flung him into the guardrail, and he basically like knocked JR over. And then Josh Barnett tried to jump in.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Jay White.
Yeah, I've seen that. You cannot be a commentator in New Japan and not expect to get knocked over once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
especially
I mean,
just now with fucking Evil.
I know that poor ring announcer was it that got like fucking taken out about 3 times during one of the matches at Wrestle Kingdom.
And it's been happening constantly ever since. Even on the fucking Road 2 shows, the poor man doesn't get a break.
I would hope he learned how to bump with the amount of times that keeps happening. Ugh. So we cut back to Kenny Omega, who's reading a book to children, and then Alex Marvez runs in, and then they're like, "Oh Jesus Christ, can you not just leave us alone for a minute?" And then it's like, "Go stand over there." So Marvez gets told to bugger off, and then Kenny Omega goes, "Okay, today, kids, we're going to read the Young Bucks book because they can't read themselves. So I'm going to do it." And then, like, one kid asks something, and then another kid goes, "Are they in love?" And then it goes, "Well, looking at the photo in the front, yeah, it does kind of look like they're in love, but they're brothers, so that's a bit weird." Then Omega reads the part where he and Jericho wrestled at the Tokyo Dome and business went up. What was the big word that he used? Exponentially or something like that? And he goes, "Does anyone know what exponentially means?"
Exponentially?
Yeah, that one too. So he goes, "That means by a lot, like a lot. And then he goes, "Right, well, that's all for today. Me and Uncle Don need to go." So they start to walk away, and then the teacher starts going, "Oh, that was great. Thank you so much for coming in today." And then a kid goes, "Can Kenny play?" And Don's like, "Oh, no, sorry, we need to go, but you can play with Nakazawa instead." And so all the kids beat the shit out of Nakazawa.
Which Nakazawa comes across as like just that right cool uncle that everybody had when they were growing up. In that particular scene. Just get the shit kicked out of him.
Because he kind of went up, was like, "Oh, it's okay, I'll pray with you." And then they were like, bah! We don't like you, Nakazawa. It reminded me of Booster from Jingle All the Way.
I was just listening to the We Hate Movies episode of that.
Nobody likes you, Booster.
Nobody wants a Booster.
Well, we have many of. I can't believe one of them is Chris Parnell, like fucking famed voice actor, Archer, and
Rick
and Morty. Rick and Morty.
I only know him from Archer.
Oh, there you go then. And he's been in some other stuff. What else I can't remember right now, but those are the two main ones. The Pride.
Put the cookies down now.
You know, no matter how many times I've seen that film, still one of my absolute favorite moments that gets me almost on the floor laughing every time is when he punches that fucking reindeer in the face. And he does that for slow motion boxing shot of, and then all the spit comes out the deer's face, and it's like you just hooked a deer to death. And then 5 minutes later, it's your best pal, and you're just sitting there drinking beer with it, because it's like, okay, right, we've had a fight, we've got our system, let's sit down and drink some beer, deer. And the deer's just lapping it all up. What a fantastic film.
Wouldn't say that.
Then you are wrong. Everyone has opinions, but sorry, yours is wrong. Although I have opinions on this match. Pride and Powerful take on the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championship.
Young Bucks win. Moving on.
No, it's the way that they win that pisses me off. So
it was fluky.
Yeah, like, I mean, this is meant to be a massive match. They're like, Pride and Powerful, first time ever. Like, this is it. This is going to be a pure big match. And then they hit the Street Sweeper. Pride and Powerful hit the Street Sweeper. Matt breaks up for two. Pride and Powerful then powerbomb Matt into the crowd, on top of like a whole bunch of crowd members, but very close to their family that are there for some reason. And then, like, I think it was Ortiz just gets back into the ring, and Nick just rolls him up for a finish. And it's like, oh, fuck off. At least hit a super kick or something. Like, I just really hated that finish.
For me, it kind of goes along with what Sammy said to them when he left. And the wee sort of, did you see the segment? Was that like, you're brought in as the tag team in the Inner Circle, and you aren't even the best tag team in the Inner Circle right now. Come on. So
yeah, there's about 86.
It might just be story that they're in their own heads and they think they're better than what they are.
Maybe, but I don't know if that's maybe just you giving them more credit.
No, I don't know if maybe that's the case or maybe it's not. If it is, cool. If it's not, whatever.
No, I know. Because like you always bring up really good points when it comes to stuff like this, but it's just one of those things where I always play devil advocate on it, especially when I don't like it. So I absolutely always appreciate when you bring up this kind of stuff, but if it pans out that way, then fine, I'll throw up my hands and say, yeah, I was wrong. But at this point in time, with this bit of speculation, I think it was just kind of one of those ways. It's like, oh well, we'll just roll them up, it'll be fine. And it's like, no, like this was meant to be billed as. I would argue that this match was bigger than the match that's going to happen at the fucking pay-per-view, and it just ended like that. And it's like, nah, that was fucking crappy.
I was shocked. I didn't even realise that was our first title match.
Exactly, that was a big part of it. That's what made it so special. Chris, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm in two minds about it. I didn't really know much about Santana and Ortiz at the start when they first came in. Right, nothing about them. First couple of months, I'm like, yeah, these guys are pretty good, but then they seem to just kind of disappear and just have the odd good feud, but nothing really that consistent. And the fact that that's their first tag team title shot in AEW is fucking frightening, considering they were like brought in to be like main eventers of the tag division.
Mm-hmm. If you're wanting a good reference for some Proud and Powerful matches, watch their stuff in Progress against CCK.
I will do.
Man.
Okay. Let's put it through this quickly. Brandy Rhodes then comes on screen and goes, I've decided to have a gender reveal party on television. Who the fuck cares? So Cody and Brandy come out and then blah, 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 pink fucking pyro goes off. It's a girl. Again, who cares? Like, I don't care about your fucking personal life. If you're having a kid, have a fucking kid. I don't care.
It's not even that though. It's like apparently they're saying, even Cody doesn't know. And then he went straight onto commentary and they were like, congratulations, you're having a girl. And he was just kind of like, meh.
Yeah,
like,
sure as a girl.
It just did. He seemed less arsed than the rest of us about his own fucking child.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, but let's talk about this next match. Was he on commentary for this full next match, or did he leave? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure he left. Yeah.
Well, the next match, which was more important than that, was FTR taking on the tandem of Mick and Matt Sydal.
I had no idea Matt Sydal had a brother.
I was the same. I had to ask Griz last week.
Yeah,
Are they actually related, or it just so happens that they shared the same wrestling surname, like the Havocs?
They're legit brothers.
Well, to be fair though, Jessica spells her name differently for Jimmy. She spells it Havoc, which is Griz.
With a K.
Yeah!
Yeah, because Havoc and Jimmy are the mum and dad, and son of Havoc is their son.
Yep.
And their nephew's son of Mayhem.
Indeed. Yes, he's the annoying child that they don't really want to talk about very much.
They only showed up in Lucha Underground like 4 times.
What a great fucking storyline that was. I miss Lucha Underground.
Well, you might not miss it for long.
Yes, so you keep saying MLW.
MLW's teasers for Lucha Underground are really becoming blatant now.
So next week's episode will include MLW coverage. Oh god, that's totally going to end up happening, isn't it? Can I get some free time, please?
At least MLW's only on for an hour.
I know. This is, see if we start including MLW, this is going to need to start getting split into 2 shows.
I think it's already pretty close to being 2-show material.
Yeah. We're looking at that later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what we should do if we do it in 2 shows, is so what episode is this? 43? Something
like that, yeah.
So, for example, if this is episode 43, if we do 44 and split it into 2, we should call it 44.1 and 44.2. So it keeps it kind of in the, the same realm of not confusing everybody.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way to go. Anyway, what a great way to go was put Mike and Matt Sydal as a tag team, because I think throughout their career, they have only tagged like a very few times. Because, so I've heard from other podcasts, I don't know how confirmed this is, but it kind of makes sense. Mike Sydal is kind of one of those, I'll wrestle when I can, but he has like a proper real life person job and does wrestling as a hobby.
Warrior.
Yeah, lack of a better term, exactly, yes.
Well, we see, Tony Khan was on Talk is Jericho a few weeks ago, and I listened to it, and that's one of the things he said. He's like, the mission statement of AEW when we first started was to build like a viable alternative for wrestling fans to watch. And he's like, but although that hasn't changed, he's like, it's kind of became second. He's like, because now, given the COVID-19 pandemic, he's like, we are trying to put money in wrestlers' pockets just now, particularly ones that aren't working. So that's why, I think that's why they're doing this split of Dark, because because they're trying to book as many indie wrestlers as possible, and doing that split of Dark makes that more viable, because then they can make Dark still majority main roster people, like a second show, and have this other show where they're just giving people paydays. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the split on Dark, and how the Dark Horse top 5 is going to change from it. But I guess we'll see what happens when that happens. Because as Robert was kind of saying before we came on here today, that apparently Dark Elevation is going to be on Mondays, with Dark Regular being on Tuesdays, then Dynamite on Wednesdays. So I guess we'll kind of...
They've also said that Dark Elevation is canon and will affect the rankings and stuff for Dynamite.
I really don't think there's a need for two shows. Like, if they're just doing this just now in order to keep giving guys paydays, fine. But I think in a year's time, if things start to go back to normal, I think they're oversaturating themselves, as Robert said earlier.
Yeah, I said they're oversaturating their own market. They're falling into the same traps and pitfalls that WWE's done.
Yeah, there is absolutely no way I'm watching 3 AEW shows a week.
You don't even watch two?
I watch Dark sometimes, but I don't even watch fucking...
Did you watch this week?
I don't even watch the 3 WWE shows. Do you know what I mean? Granted, and weirdly, the one that I keep hearing is the worst is the one that I keep fucking watching every week.
NXT?
Oh, Raw.
Ah.
But just SmackDown on a Saturday night seemed like a fucking great idea at the time, but it's really not, man.
No. Or a Friday night.
Yeah, sorry, Friday night, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I thought that as well, because I thought that, oh man, like I'll have like a wee hour and a half to watch SmackDown before I need to do anything on a Saturday, and now I just keep forgetting it happened. You know,
yeah,
I watched SmackDown after Raw this week, and that's just because I found time to put it on. And then that was me watching that after I'd already watched Elimination Chamber. So like the SmackDown I watched was completely irrelevant. But I was just like, fuck it, I'll stick it on and just watch the matches. So I skipped like the whole Edge and Roman Reigns thing at the beginning and just watched a couple of matches, despite the fact I knew half the outcomes because they mentioned them on the pay-per-view.
Yeah,
but it was just
like I'm the same.
I'm
totally the same. I keep forgetting that SmackDown's been on, and it's usually like the Saturday afternoon where I look on Facebook and then I get the main thing that happened on it spoiled, and I'm like, oh, no point watching that now.
Yep. Like I didn't even go back and watch that episode before the Royal Rumble that you were telling me about. When we watched the Rumble, where it was that singles match that turned into a tag match that turned into a 6-man that turned into an 8-man that turned into a 10-man. And it's like, I kind of like the very few times that they've done that, but like I was just like, fuck it, let's just leave it.
Yeah.
No point.
Yeah. Occasionally I'll remember and watch it on a Saturday morning, but it's usually because I've got said spoiler I was talking about earlier on, so I've not actually got to bed or anything yet, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll watch SmackDown, then I'll get up. But I know what's fucking going to happen at the end every time. Do you know what I mean?
Because that's the thing, like every, third weekend I get the Saturday off, and even then I don't watch SmackDown live because I forget that it's on.
Yeah. Plus I'm usually too drunk by that time on a Friday night to watch anything live.
Yes, there's also that. But anyway, so Matt hits a knee and a spinning neck breaker on Dax. Mike with a moonsault onto both of FTR. There's a Dragonplex on Matt, but Mike breaks the count. there's a diving knee by Matt and Mike, then botches a top rope maneuver, just completely missing. I think it was Dax. And then on commentary, they try to kind of cover up, but like, oh, he kind of hit the back of his foot on the neck. That may be enough. Matt gets his leg pulled out from under him, I think, while he was on the top. FTR hits the big rig on Mike, and it's over. I mean, other than a botch or two, the side of us actually look kind of good together. And I mean, this is like arguably one of the first times that they've been teaming, because Mike has been so in and out of pro wrestling. Again, because of his actual job. So I don't know. Why not just let them kind of go as a tag team in AEW for a while? It gives a tag team into the tag division. Why not? FTR then bring out the scissors. But the lights go out, and Luchasaurus' old mask is on the Titantron with a shadow behind him. And this made me think that Luchasaurus was coming out without a mask.
I thought he was coming out with like a more elaborate mask.
Yep.
One that looked a bit more like a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
No, he basically came out wearing the same mask.
The same mask with the horns back on, and it made absolutely no sense.
Nah.
Completely.
You fucked the horns, so you're going to maybe get like a vicious look, maybe more looking like a raptor or something.
Like something a stronger horns, like a big solid thing where you can like ram people with it, like you're a fucking bull or something like that.
A bit more aggressive.
Yeah, and then like literally the note that I wrote down was, "Oh, he's got a new mask," which looks literally the same as the old one. Good. It made no sense. They built all this up for literally nothing.
But I think this thing isn't about Luchasaurus. This is about Jungle Boy.
Yeah, and even Luchasaurus is probably number 3 in this feud right now. It's about Jungle Boy, then it's about Marco Stunt, then it's about Luchasaurus. Because Marco got fucking kidnapped a couple of weeks ago, so he wants his revenge.
But then they just let him go because they're such good guys. Why not hold them fucking hostage?
I know, until the match. So, next week's announcement is going to be Paige of the Hangman variety taking on Isaiah Cassidy. There's a semi-final match in the American bracket where Nyla Rose, I think it was.
Robert versus Chris.
Yeah, Robert versus Chris. We'll say that. Starks and Cage will take on the Varsity Blonde. Hagar takes on Brandon Cutler. And it's Isaiah Cassidy takes on Hangman Page, I've already said. So I've wrote that down twice. Fun. Then throughout the week, Ryan Ziegler will take on John Moxley. And Phoenix will take on Archer for a spot in the ladder match, which was announced. Was that announced in this episode, or did I miss it?
Yeah, Cody. That was what Cody went on to commentary to announce.
Must have skipped by that. So yeah, there's going to be a ladder match of Revolution with Scorpio Sky, Pentagon, and Cody already announced. 3 more to be announced, and this is going to be one of the qualifying matches.
I did enjoy, sorry Robert, or Impact, like this week's Impact, the paid commercial, where Tony Khan had various wrestlers on it with him. I'd see like all the wee digs they were having at Impact. That's
yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, there was one where Brandy Rhodes grabbed the mic, and it's like, oh, I'm going to face Nyla Rose, who's been more relevant than Impact has been in like the past 2 years. And she's now been in AEW for 2 years, or something along those lines.
The best one was Brian Cage, where he's like that.
Oh yeah.
He's like, hey, I wrestled for Impact, and I really don't appreciate all the things you guys are saying. But to be fair, it was only relevant when I was there.
Yeah, I held the world title, which is probably the last time that title was ever relevant.
Yeah, that was it, something like that. But yes.
Oh, nice.
I love it. I just love how much they take the piss out of Impact. Like, Impact's been great recently. Like, there's a pretty major thing that happens on Impact this week, which I'm not going to say in case Robert's not watched it yet.
I have.
I think you know what I'm talking about, Griz.
There's a couple interesting things.
I'm talking about what the main event becomes.
Yes.
So, I won't mention it here, but so it's not the fact that I'm laughing at it because it's taking the piss out of Impact. I just laugh at it because it's kind of like the internet wrestling community view at Impact that they're just broadcasting. Do you know what I mean?
Wrestling community.
Say with the more that they do these paid ads, Tony Khan just comes across as just an entitled wee bitch.
I think that's the point, though.
Like referring to himself as the forbidden and all that.
Aye, because like I think they're supposed to come like AEW's supposed to come across as the heels on Impact, and then Impact's supposed to come across as the heels on AEW. That's how invasion angles work. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just. But Tony Khan to me comes across as more of a dweeb than anything else. He's always came across as a dweeb though, so.
And every week it gets worse and worse though.
Yeah.
Because he's dressing.
See those glasses that he wears. They crack me the fuck up, man.
Aye. Like it's just like, oh my god, you're such a dick. And like now I'm kind of getting it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it still makes me dislike him because he's just a massive dweeb, and I just don't like him. But at least I can tell more that he's definitely leaning into the. I realize I'm a dweeb and not many people like me, so may as well use that.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate it in some aspects. But we'll move on to the main event with Kingston, Butcher, and Blades taking on Archer, Phoenix, and Moxley. Have you guys noticed Bunny's annoying noise/laugh that she says or does throughout the matches yet? That I brought up a couple of weeks ago?
No.
Nope, still not noticed it. I think I've tried to block it out though, purposely. Like purposely my brain's like, don't listen to her. She says nothing, she means nothing, don't listen to her. Like most of my relationships, but not the point. Was that a bit far?
Just you saying stop that, you sexy bitch.
Much like my proclamation on Facebook on Friday night that I demand Avril Lavigne tours again.
Yes, and as I says, I would totally go with you. I've never seen Avril Lavigne. I want to see Avril Lavigne.
Yeah.
And then I seen somebody.
Only if she does the old stuff.
I didn't even know.
I didn't realise it was new stuff. Hey.
The last song I think that had any sort of relevance is Trash. It's like a weird. Tries to do like a K-pop type thing.
No, see the album that Girlfriend was on. I think that's the last Avril Lavigne album I actually paid any attention to. After that, I was just kind of like, eh. But I think that's got With You and all that on it as well, doesn't it? The album.
I think that album.
I think her first album.
Yeah, I was going to say With You is before that.
Is it? Oh, okay, fair enough.
But nevertheless,
when we're done, just go onto YouTube and type in Avril Lavigne Kitty Kitty.
Do you know what the worst thing is? And like the fact that you say that's K-pop sounding is the fact that I may end up liking it. Or at least my other half will like it. And then I'll probably have to listen to it a million times. In fact, Chris, I know we don't do it anymore, but you should put it at the end of the episode.
I might do. Remind me at the end.
Or at least just a sample of it.
I regret that I even opened up my mouth.
You opened up the forbidden door.
I bet it's not the first time you've said that.
Normally, no.
Oh. Surely there must have been some regrets.
I don't do regrets. I just do men.
Fair.
That's what we'll call our live stream that's coming. No regrets. I just do men.
Just men. Well, that'd be awkward for us too, though.
Yeah. Anyway, we will go swiftly on.
Yes.
I mean, with that, we might get a lot of the gay community in. They may be disappointed when we find out that we're just talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
And then Robert's going to get swarmed after the show, so...
What can I say? Robert's the sex appeal of this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Why do you think we brought him on?
It is what it is.
You can't deny it. It's just fabuloso. I would whip my hair, but I don't have any. So
One might even say I'm iconic.
Iconic. And I bet you, like, Chris, despite the fact he's went off camera, is probably doing that no matter what he's doing right now.
He's probably standing peeing doing the pose.
Probably. Because he can still hear us, I know that much. You're a vagina. So, Moxley puts the bully choke on Kingston early on, but Butcher and Blade are in with the breakup. Archer chokeslams Phoenix off the apron onto Butcher and Blade, and then Archer with a dive from the apron on top of everybody. Mox plants Kingston with the... Oh my god, what's it called? The
Paradigm shift?
That's the one, thank you. I just put Mox plants King and it's over.
I get confused with the two because in New Japan they call it the Death Rider.
Either works. It's the same guy.
Because the way that I kind of look at it is say when he just does like the dirty deeds, that's the paradigm shift. But when he lifts them up for the
answer is yes. I was peeing doing the iconic
pose. So when he does the version that he done to Kingston there, I would refer to that as a Death Rider.
Okay, so is that more the deeper one that he does?
Yeah,
I think it's more of a spike.
Him up almost brainbustery.
Yeah, it's just more of a spike.
It's a paradigm shift in AEW, but to separate the two, I call that one the Death Rider.
Perfect. There you go.
I think that's a very sensible thing, Robert.
Just like the Uranagi rock bottom kind of conversation we had last week.
Yeah, actually very similar.
Uranagi.
No, you're both Aggies.
You didn't do it right.
It was Agatha all along.
No.
What, Christy?
Oh no.
I don't care.
The most watched television show
Countdown.
so far in the year. Watch it and you'll get it.
Countdown.
Watch WandaVision.
Oh, okay. I don't care if he's kissing Christina Yamaguchi. Well, no reaction there, so that was a Simpsons reference that went past. See,
yeah,
and
really did.
That is an explanation of how the Simpsons game works.
Yep.
That went straight over their head, even though I'm pretty sure I'm still the champion. That's not retention right there.
No.
So after the match, the Good Brothers jump Moxley, and then Kenny Omega comes out and says, "Oh, I see that you snuck into your contract that you get a rematch clause." And yes, your reaction, Robert, is exactly how I feel about this.
Our turn in Japanese episode is finally for something.
Which we need to get back to at some point. So Kenny Omega gets into Moxley's face and says, "I am going to give you your rematch. Your main event at Revolution will be Kenny Omega versus Jon Moxley. AEW World Title on the line." And then exploding barbed wire deathmatch.
That's why this is a happy robot.
Aren't you glad that I programmed you to feel emotion?
Oh, yeah.
or to feel happiness more specifically?
Oh,
Because you felt rage the other week, and I was. Why did I Why did I program you to feel rage?
I almost Skyneted you.
Yeah. And now see how it went.
I really, 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 really fucking hope that they go all out with this match.
Oh no,
no pun intended.
It's a revolution.
Yeah.
Aye,
but
they're going to go balls
there's
to the
going
wall.
to be all sorts of mad spots in this bin.
Aye, because if you look at it this way, right, expectations are already high because of their lights out match at Full Gear a couple 2 years ago.
Yeah. But also, there's a lot of people that are pissing and moaning about this. It's like, deathmatch wrestling has no right to be in an American company, and it's like, well, okay, don't watch them. Okay, that's the
whole
end
point
of
of wrestling is it's a variety show. There's something for everyone on it.
You know what? You can watch the entire pay-per-view. See when the main event comes on, turn it off.
Yeah. Hope you have a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure the rest of the pay-per-view would be brilliant. So you probably got your money's worth. But you know what? If the main event's not for you, don't watch it. Like, don't be one of those people that goes and sits and watches and goes, this is shite. Can't believe this happened. This is shite. So it's probably going to last about 45 minutes. And then you go, oh, that was the worst match in AEW. That was the worst match of the year. And it's like, well, why did you sit and watch it then? Don't watch it if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm fucking watching this pay-per-view strictly for this match alone. Because let's face it, the Revolution card was not looking good until the announcement of this match.
I'm very interested in who she is going to wrestle at this point. Now that we're down to the kind of nitty gritty, we've snuffed out the fluff and the Maki Ito, but that has potential.
Yeah, I'm not saying what I'm saying is the match card so far isn't particularly up to the typical AEW snuff.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like other than the main event, the only other match that kind of holds my interest right now is the potential of what the women's title match could be.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
I feel you. But moving on to NXT. Jesus Christ, we've still got a long way to go. So NXT starts out this week with Kyle O'Reilly saying, at TakeOver, KO stabbed me in the back. But he's my brother, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Strong comes out and tries to be like, look, it was heat of the moment. Sing the song. It was the heat of the moment. There you go. And he kind of says, Kyle, you're not special. Undisputed Era is special. And then Kyle says, look, I don't want to hear this from you. I want to hear it from Cole. Then he calls Cole out again. He says, I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone right now. I don't know who to trust. And then Balor comes out and he's like, oh, great. Yeah, you were not who I called out. And so Balor says, oh, yeah, I shouldn't have accepted your hand. And then sort of tries to imply that this was a setup between the Undisputed Era. And then even Strong then comes up and backs up Kyle O'Reilly. And it's like, look, this was nothing to do with him. So the way that Strong is in this kind of weird kind of in-between between Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole is quite interesting. Because it kind of sounded like he sort of decided with Adam Cole. But then
I think he is siding with Adam Cole because I think the payoff to this is going to be Strong and Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish.
It probably will, yeah. But we're trying to pan it out a little bit to wait for Old Man Fish to come back.
It's going to the way I see it going is I think it's going to be a fatal four-way at the next takeover for the title between O'Reilly, Balor, Strong, and Cole.
How would that work when none of them are champion?
Balor's champion?
Balor's the champion?
I completely missed what you said there.
Were you thinking it was like...
The four members of Undisputed Era.
I think that's what they'll build to, and then Balor will probably retain, and then after that they'll start building towards the big tag match between the Undisputed Era.
Right, I apologise. I was clearly not listening. Or I do that thing where like you start to say something, and I think what you're going to say, and then I didn't hear what you actually said, and then thought what you said, and then now I look like an idiot, which happens a lot. So,
not going to dispute it.
That's undisputed.
Well, turns out old Pat was right, wasn't he?
It sure was, and he did even show up later on in the night to say so. But before we get to that, Regal throws a video of Escobar where Escobar was outside of the arena and goes, "You know what? Nah, I don't feel like wrestling Cross tonight," and then gets back in his car and drives away. And it's like, wow, you're a dick. So Regal then says, okay, this match will happen next week, no matter what. And even though it's not for the Cruiserweight title, if you don't show up, you'll be stripped of your title. Simple as yada yada. So our first match of the evening was The Way, the female edition, taking on Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon.
Would it not, see if it's the female one, would it not be The Way? Ladies, boobs.
Get them tizzits out.
Hello, ladies.
No, we don't talk about Val Venis anymore. He's weird on Twitter.
I don't have him on Twitter, I wouldn't know. He is rather strange, though.
Not a nice person.
Yeah. And also, I'd probably be like, way more for their opponents. I mean, no offense, Candice and India, are both lovely women. And very talented. But, you know, Shotzi. Yeah, it's a no-brainer.
I love how that one wrestler in your head defeats the two. Because you're not shouting for Ember Moon. You're only shouting for Ember Moon because Shotzi's in the team.
No one is shouting for fucking Ember Moon.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad, because I used to be a big fan of Ember Moon.
So did I, to be honest. Hold on, I'm going to try something. There you go.
Wow. I don't like this Mad Max gimmick Ember Moon's got on just now.
Yeah, no, it's not doing anything for me. I liked it much more when she was a weird werewolf kind of character.
Yeah, like the High Priestess sort of thing.
It reminds me too much of the WWE 2K20 2K Originals pack for the game, where instead of doing actual like DLC roster members, they would create like all their own like wee stories. And they had one where it was like a barren wasteland where Samoa Joe was like the overruler, and everyone had like these Mad Max type attires and gimmicks and stuff. It was fucking weird.
Well, I've seen some adverts for that. Like, that's only been the like very slight interest that I've been wanting to get that game, is that kind of whole Mad Max style thing. But other than that, I still can't, bring myself to even paying as little as it was.
Don't.
Yeah. I just don't think I'll ever do it. I'll just wait for the next one. 2022, I'm assuming, has potential, because you've had fucking 2 years to make it. Anyway, so this match was literally just a match to happen just to get the storyline across. Nothing more on that. So they bring up that Theory was abducted on the way to the ring during the title match at TakeOver, where Dexter Lumis asked Austin Theory, does this rag smell like chloroform? And then took him away. So during the match, I thought, man, I've seen this match like 1,000 times. And then they brought up this was a rematch from last week, and it's like, oh well, I've clearly seen it very recently. So during the match, a truck shows up, and then later on during the match, Johnny Gargano goes to investigate said truck. Then, leading towards the end of the match, Gargano wanders out on the stage and pulls Theory that's still bound and gagged, essentially, and then pulls the kind of sheet off his head, and Candice just leaves the ring, runs up, it's like, oh my god, Theory's back! And so they all start hugging, and then this is the point where Ember rolls up Indy Hartwell and gets the victory, and then Indy Hartwell runs up the ramp and is like, oh my god, Theory's back, and didn't even care about the victory or their loss. Then, as you kind of alluded to, Pat McAfee was on his big expensive plane, and he's like, I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. Hashtag Pat was right. And yes, he was. And we at the Turning Heel podcast recognize Pat McAfee as our new overlord and
our Lord and Saviour, our Jihad, our Buddha, our
Ganesh.
Yeah. Jihad was the wrong thing to say,
wasn't it? Ganesh.
Ganesh and Buddha are gods.
I thought you were looking at me like that for saying jihad there. I was like, whoa.
No, that's Ganesh. It's Ganesh. Ganesh is a pudding.
Grace, thank fuck I'm as dumb as you.
Well, I was closer to being right than you said jihad.
To be fair, I did have a sort of surprise, like my face when I heard jihad.
Yeah. I think, what was he looking for? Allah? Is that what he was looking for?
Yeah, Allah was what I was looking for. I'm sorry if I offended anyone with that.
Did you mean to say Allah Akbar? Instead of jihad?
I don't know. Leave me alone.
You uncultured piece of shit.
To be honest, I was about to say Allah Akbar and realised that Akbar's not his second name.
Right, so, whoop, 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 whoop. Chris's opinions do not reflect the opinions of the Turn Heel podcast.
Chris, you're off the hook.
That's so refreshing to hear an alarm for somebody else for a change.
Yeah, can we move on in a swift fashion?
So coming up next, Kushida was interviewed backstage. Says he's not done with Johnny Gargano, and then Reed comes up and says, "Oh yeah, well you've had your shot, but I want my shot." And then Bivens then tries to set up a match between Kushida and Tyler Rust for tonight. Then we get Swerve versus already in the ring, Leo Rush. Rush wins with a crucifix pin to beat Scott, and then Scott beats down Rush after the match, saying, "I'm sick of you always getting handed everything." Cora and Kaylee take on Jessica Maya and Aaliyah. Already in the ring, the Robert Stone brand. There's a squash. Casey and Kaden win, and then Xaya's on the ramp and says, "Next week I will hurt you." To Casey specifically. So it's going to be a one-on-one. Then we get a long-ass segment about the Dusty Cup winners where MSK get brought out. They get about 30 seconds. Then you get Raquel and Dakota Kai who come out. They start to do their thing. And then this brings out Nia and Shayna.
And then Shayna and her hole.
Shayna and her hole.
Her hole.
And then her hole. And then you get a back and forth between the two teams, and then just in the background you see MSK and Beth Phoenix just sitting there eating popcorn, which is really funny just for the fact it was Beth Phoenix also eating popcorn with them. Like, MSK doing it is one thing, but the fact that Beth Phoenix was just kind of like she was like looking at the confrontation because she was obviously really interested, but she's like digging into the popcorn bowl. Like, Beth, you're so sweet. I love you. Then it's announced that both tag team matches will happen on March 3rd. What else is that week? Oh yes, it's the Shaquille O'Neal match. Grimes gets the kind of weird rap video that he had at the takeover, but this time it ends with a car crash. And then he just kind of goes, I didn't know these things could go this fast. Oh, well, I guess I'll buy another one.
I like frivolous, grimy.
Me too. It's like, I think you hit the nail on the head, Robert. I don't know if you said it in the group chat or if you said it on the podcast, but he's gone full scale Yosemite Sam. It's fucking great, man.
He's basically a real life Yosemite Sam.
See if he actually started buying...
I'll tell you this, boy.
See if he actually...
That's the wrong character, isn't it? That's the chicken.
That's the rooster.
The
rooster. Yeah. Never mind.
Leghorn. Well, I got damn it. I got that.
See when they make Space Jam 2, if Yosemite Sam's not played by Grimy, I will not go see that movie.
Yes, you will.
Yeah, of course I will. But it's always nice to make a point.
It's one of those things where it's like, like I've said to one of my friends, like, see if fucking Spiral's The Saw story, or The Saw, whatever the fuck it's called. Anyway, Spiral's, if that gets bumped back another year, there'll be hell to pay.
There will be discussions.
Exactly.
I'm very much the same with Halloween Kills.
Yeah, exactly. Same again. Like, see if the two of them get bumped back, I'll sit there patiently and wait on it. But you know what? I'm not going to be happy about it.
No.
But yeah, what Grammy should do is start bringing a gun to arenas and just start going pew 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 pew.
Yeah. Let's not do that.
Not real guns, for fuck's sake. Cap guns.
It doesn't matter if it's real guns or cap guns, man. Don't be doing that shit. Americans take that shit way too literally.
Aye, because if they that, the next takeover will be NXT Takeover Columbine.
Ooh.
Oh no, actually, a more realistic name they could have used: NXT Takeover Massacre. Yeah. Let's not have guns.
Okay, let's not have guns. Toni Storm attacks Io Shirai with Io Shirai doing a photo shoot. So this whole thing was done in photos.
I thought that was quite clever.
Yeah, I think
it's a bit different. Do you know what I mean?
I kind of liked it, actually. Tyler Rust took on Kushida. Both are already in the ring. Kushida works on Rust's arm and finally locks in the hoverboard lock for the victory. The cameraman knocks on LA Knight's front door, and then he's kind of just cuts the same promo he did at TakeOver.
Have you heard WWE fucked up?
Do tell.
They attempted to trademark LA Knight. They trademarked the name LA Knight, but not the correct spelling.
Great.
They trademarked LA Knight as in nighttime.
So he's basically now LA Knight with an N.
Yes.
So he's not LA Knight anymore?
No. And supposedly they've not even made an effort to try to change it.
Fuck it, knock off a letter, who cares?
I reckon maybe they couldn't. Maybe they went to trademark LA Knight and discovered it was already trademarked by DC or something like that.
LA Knight sounds like a fucking like basketball or a hockey team.
To me, it sounds like a singer. LA Knight.
To me, it sounds like a Batman spin-off.
Well, we all have very completely different opinions on this.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Zoe Stark makes her proper NXT debut as she takes on Valentina Feroz. Let's go with that. There's a bridging suplex and a running knee by Stark, and then ends with a flipping GTS. And we're done. Great. Zoe Stark actually was kind of awesome here. So our main event is the Brand taking on Strong, O'Reilly, and Balor. Partway through the match, O'Reilly starts giving dragon screws to the Brand, goes for a dive off the apron, but gets popped in the face by Dunn. Burch tries to get a belt involved in the match, and then Balor tries to take Burch out, but then drop kicks the referee. Balor goes up top and is shoved off by someone into the ref again. And then, oh my God, it's Adam Cole, who turns his attention to Kyle O'Reilly. And there's a lobster kick to O'Reilly, and then a brainbuster on the steps. Strong takes out Burch and taps Balor on the shoulder, but Balor turns around and then Pele kicks. Well, he doesn't turn around, actually. Because he Pele kicks Strong. There's a bitter end to Balor by Dunn, and it is over.
There was a lot of hubbub made about Kyle O'Reilly last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he had like a seizure after this.
No, he didn't. He didn't. Basically what happened was he oversold it, and people in the audience thought he did because NXT had gone off air. Yeah, NXT had gone off air when they were doing the stretching him out the arena thing. Which to me makes no sense, given the fact his friends and family that are in attendance, they fucking know the score. Did they really have to oversell it like that? So basically, so basically, O'Reilly was like fucking doing the shaking shit and all that when he was getting put in the stretcher, and people that were there thought he'd legit had a seizure. He didn't. It was
because even they noticed us do with diabetes and that, and they equated it to a seizure.
Yeah, but
well, that was the last I heard of that, so I'm glad you could put us into a proper sort of.
Yeah,
Kyle O'Reilly himself went on to Twitter and went, "I did not have a seizure. I'll be okay. I'm sore, but I'll be okay."
Aye, Ryan Satin posted pretty much an hour or so after those reports first started that he didn't have a seizure. He's fine, and it was never supposed to replicate a seizure. He just basically oversold it.
I mean, fair to an extent, but like, I kind of feels like if you were going to do something like that, you should have done that upon impact. Like, if you're gonna, like kind of what like Devon Dudley used to do when he used to sell like pure high impact moves where he was just kind of
I think the point was it was supposed to be spasms that he was having rather than a seizure. A seizure technically is a spasm, but it's supposed to be because he got dropped on his head on the stairs. He was like his body was spasming. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't supposed to be a seizure. It was meant to be spasms that he was having.
Yeah, because we seen him during the match and he was lying still. So why would you do that after it goes off the air? If you'd done that as soon as it happened, it would have. Well,
I think they intended to run an injury angle with him for a few weeks, because Triple H was out and all that for him being stretchered out. So I think they were taping that to then put on YouTube or whatever the next day and be like after we went off air and stuff. And then that happened with the fucking Twitter blew up. And they probably just went, let's just scrap that. Yeah, because they took it the wrong way. But I think that was the point, because why else would you have Triple H out, put him on the stretcher and all that? I think it was they were filming to do a after we went off air sort of thing. Like, oh, Kyle O'Reilly's injured, this is what happened when the cameras turned off. Do you know what I mean?
But then it got a bit too real.
Yeah, basically. And I think they've now just scrapped it. But I think they still have him out. I think they still have him out for a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm. But I think they just scrapped the video of him being stretchered out.
The air quote seizure.
Probably best to at this point.
Yeah, but apparently, according to Ryan Satin, it was never ever supposed to mimic a seizure. It was just Kyle O'Reilly, for whatever reason, decided to do that, and I think it was probably down to he was trying to feign spasms because he'd just been dropped on his neck. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably try to get Adam Cole some heat as well, since he's supposed to be a baddie.
Yeah.
Listen to me talking like a 5-year-old. He's a baddie. He's a baddie.
Bad guy.
But yeah, nope. Fear not, Griz. He's absolutely fine. It was just a selling segment that went wrong.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh, my back. Well, this brings...
Oh, wait.
Oh, me groin. Man getting hit by football. Boink. Oh, my groin. So let's move on to the final segment of the evening. This will be the Elimination Chamber. So the first match of the night was the kickoff match that had Mustafa, Ali, Ricochet, John Morrison, Elias going in a fatal four-way, with the winner qualifying to go into the triple threat match for the United States Championship, because Keith Lee has been taken out of it for reasons that I am unaware of right now.
Probably because he got engaged. You know, WWE don't like it when folk announce their engagements.
I'm getting engaged against Reckoning. Yay! I did wonder why it is, because Reckoning was on Raw this past week. So, is it an injury? That's the question. Well, anyway, the end of this match came with Elias taking spinning DDT from Ali. Then Ricochet gets a 450 on Ali, goes for the pinfall, but Retribution pull Ali out of the ring. Then Ricochet goes for a dive on Retribution, but gets thrown back first into the ring post. And while Ali was admiring his boy's work, Morrison gets the roll up and gets the victory. So
Johnny
Morrison
Trap with the win.
Sure, why not? I mean, do you think this was the best person to have in this match, or?
He's my favourite out of the four.
Really?
Well, past accomplishments, Johnny Mundo, etc. I like him the best.
I would say currently my favourite of the four might be Mustafa Ali, to be honest with you. But I mean, that's again wrestling fans' own taste.
Well,
taste.
Put it this way, right? That match was solely there to determine who was taking the pin in that triple threat. Spoilers for later.
Yeah.
Mustafa Ali is not exactly flying high just now, and I think that would have been even worse for him to be going into that match just to take the pin.
However, Chris, counterpoint, and it's because you've seen Raw, so let's bring that up just now. Retribution had a match on Raw the next night where they lost, and Mustafa went off on all of them, pretty much just being like, oh my god, I can't trust any of you, you're all useless, you keep losing all the time, you keep letting me down. If Mustafa won that match and then went into the triple threat, and then Retribution got thrown away from ringside, and then Mustafa got pinned off of that could have fueled the fire a little bit more, and then made this bit of a potential breakup angle or whatever it is you want to call it, a bit spicier. Because, Mustafa was finally in his first big match for a title belt, and fucking ever since the Cruiserweight title match at WrestleMania that one year.
34.
The Heart Soul match.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it was cheesy as fuck. But nope, John Morrison wins. But then we move on to the actual Elimination Chamber event, where we started with the Elimination Chamber match for the number one contendership for the Universal title, where Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, King Corbin, Jey Uso, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan entered the Elimination Chamber. So during their entrance, Sami Zayn's film crew got thrown out before the match even started. Sami Zayn was in his pod, and he's like, no, they need to be here, and the ref's like, no, you just need to go. Bryan and Cesaro started, having a nice wrestling clinic. Corbin was at first out of the pod, and then began to wreck shop. Sami comes in next, but tries to stay in his pod, with Corbin standing next to it. And Sami then just starts gloating, and then pops the pod, which kind of drops Corbin to the floor. not realizing the fact that Cesaro came in on the other side, so Sammy kind of turned around, it's like, oh, what the? And then Cesaro starts bashing him all around the pod, bringing him in the match. Cesaro and Zayn end up the chamber at one point. Yeah, that makes sense. With Cesaro booting Sammy off the top to the floor. Cesaro then starts doing some pull-ups, and then Cesaro sends Corbin into the post, hits a flying uppercut followed by the swing, and then connects with the sharpshooter, eliminating Corbin. Kevin Owens enters later on, and Sammy tries to team up with KO, and Kevin Owens is just like, nah. And then sends him into one of the pods, and just Sammy just like, oh my god, what are you doing? Brian enters after that, and then Jay enters last. Kevin Owens eliminates Zayn with a stunner. As Sammy is leaving the ring, Jay traps Owens' arm in the chamber door after a super kick. Then sets up for the splash, which eliminates Owens. Cesaro with a flying elbow that lands on Jay's head instead of his chest for a 2 count, but that move looked insane. Cesaro takes Brian off the top with a gutbuster on one leg, which was terrifying because I thought Cesaro was going to get the old Sid Vicious from WCW.
Mm-hmm.
But Uso with a super kick and a splash, eliminating Cesaro. Jay sets up for another splash and connects, but Brian kicks out at 2. Jay goes for one better, climbs to the top of the chamber for a splash, but it's nothing but knees. Brian then hits the knee plus, and Brian wins the Elimination Chamber.
Very quick point about the chamber. Not a lot of detail about it, just something that I quite appreciated was when the match first started, Sami Zayn was shouting at Corey Graves. And he's like, there's an injustice. It's an injustice. And Corey Graves is like, Sami Zayn seems to be telling me there's an injustice. And Sami Zayn's like, talk about it. Be a broadcaster. And he's like, so yeah, there's clearly an injustice against Sami Zayn in this match. I just thought it was a nice wee spot. Like, not spot, but you know what I mean? Like, just a nice wee skit.
Yeah.
Anything to take the attention away from Michael Cole, who could not get a fucking sentence out this whole show without stuttering or fucking up.
Oh, really? I did not notice that.
Oh, it was terrible.
I can't say I noticed it either.
It was stuttering the fuck. I don't know if maybe he had a seizure because of all the fucking cuts.
Ouch.
Kevin Dunn needs to calm down with all these fucking camera cuts.
Yeah, he really does. Well, that's been a complaint for a long time.
I was getting fucking dizzy. I remember watching the Rumble and it was blip 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 blip. I thought I was going to have I thought I was an epileptic.
All these bright lights.
It's so disorientating.
It really is. I wonder how someone that actually has that problem could watch WWE at this point.
They warn you. This program contains flashing lights and strobe images.
And strobe lighting effects.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's the only bad thing I've got to say for the rest of the podcast.
Well, yeah, but the show anyway, definitely. Well, debatable. The next match was Roman Reigns defending the Universal title against Daniel Bryan. So Reigns gets in the ring, goes for the spear. Daniel Bryan counters into the yes lock. But Daniel Bryan clearly weakened from the Elimination Chamber, so Roman fights out and then just starts beating down Bryan just with the kind of forearms and just everything else. Then he locks in the choke and it's over quickly. That was your Universal title match of the night. Blah.
I thought that's how when he got the yes lock in, I thought, fuck, is he going to fucking just snatch the win out of nowhere?
I mean, that would have been amazing, to be honest with you. But sadly not. The guillotine takes it out, and then Edge comes in, hits a spear on Roman, and states his claim to his match at WrestleMania. It's going to be Edge versus Roman Reigns. And by gum, am I excited, because this is new. This is new.
It didn't really matter which match Edge picked. It was going to be fresh, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And I am so excited. And we'll get to the Raw main event once we get to the end of this, but I have got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, let's. Matt Riddle and John Morrison challenged Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship.
Bobby Lashley!
So MVP accompanies Lashley to the ring with a crutch. So throughout the match, Bobby Lashley looks dominant, and he is beasting through both of them, even to the point where Jesus.
You said beasting?
Even to the point where John Morrison and Matt Riddle start trying to team up against the CEO of the Hurt Business.
CHO.
I don't even want to know what that means.
We had to explain to Claire the other night why Bobby Lashley's the CEO. It's like, oh, because he's in the Hurt Business. And she's like, what?
And she just kind of looked at me like, that means nothing to me. And it's like, that's the faction that he's a part of.
He's the Chief Hurt Officer.
The Chief Hurt Officer.
CHO, that'd be better, yeah.
That's what they said. He's CHO.
No, they did say the CEO.
No, CEO.
No, they said CHO.
CEO.
Because that's how the only reason I know, because I don't watch Raw.
He's the CEO of the
It's definitely the CEO.
Officer of the Hurt Business.
It's 2 against 1, Robert.
Suck a dick.
Well, if you insist.
It depends on whose it is.
It's my dick.
Chris, you can go first.
Oh, so you want Chris's sloppy second?
Salty.
I can't tell what's got the laugh. You was doing the sucking or the thought of him having your sloppy seconds?
I don't know which is worse. Oh, fuck.
Good times.
Yep, and you're just standing there just like,
Man,
I must admit, it's kind of impressive. Anyway, enough of that.
I impress.
I mean...
Wolf broke Griz.
God damn it.
Man down, man down.
Oh, man up, apparently. And you know who says that? The Briscoes, and yeah, you know how they feel, so...
Oofed.
I know, Jesus. Respect them as wrestlers. Don't respect them as, outbrain competitors.
Humans.
Or isn't it just specifically one of them that's got that problem? Not both of them?
Jay.
Yeah.
You drinking a wine?
No, it's actually vodka and Sprite and a little bit of Diluent juice.
Blackcurrant.
Yes.
It really looks like rosé wine.
It does. Thankfully, it's not, because Jesus Christ. So, Morrison later on takes the crutch of MVP. God damn it. Right, come on. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Morrison takes the crutch of MVP and tries to attack Lashley with it. Lashley counters and puts on the Hurt Lock on Morrison. And then Riddle takes the crutch, starts to attack Lashley. That sends him out the ring. then hits the Bro Derek on Morrison to get the victory. Matt Riddle is your new United States champion. What is a Bro Derek?
No idea.
There was an actress in the 70s and 80s called Bo Derek. Very, very pretty.
Right, okay. I wouldn't have known that.
Bo Derek?
Yeah, she'd done a lot of like B movies.
Okay.
A lot of the films that she was in are now considered cult classics.
How do you spell Bo? Is it like Bo's and Bo Dallas?
Oh, Derek. Oh, no, you're right. That does actually ring a bell now.
Bo Derek. Let us have a look. There's her with a dog. There, IMDb. That's what we're looking for. She was in such hits as...
She was in a lot of canon films, if that's any.
Oh, that does not help.
What, canon?
I have never seen any of the... Wait. No, why was I thinking of Carry On films?
No, canon.
Canon. Joe Bronco. The Last Sharknado. I've not seen that, but she's in Sharknado 5. She's in Sharknado 3. She was in an episode of Chuck as herself. I have not heard of any of these things. Not anything that I know of. No.
If you can find it, watch the Canon film documentary. And you'll see a lot of her on that.
I don't know. I may have too much time watching more wrestling.
That's on you, not me.
I know, that's why I'm the host. The hostess, the hoster with the moster.
The hoster who watches the moster.
Exactly.
Right,
You are so fucking welcome, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll move swiftly on with that.
Now, the alleged rapist wins the US title. Continue. I did say alleged.
You sure did. Yes, you definitely did. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler took on Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair for the Women's Tag Team Championships. This was clearly replacing Asuka versus... What's her butt? The sassy Southern Belle herself, Lacey Evans.
If they were going to replace that match with a women's tag match, why wasn't it Naomi and Lana?
I know. They seem to be kind of keeping that for some reason.
WrestleMania.
Oh, Jesus. So, because Reginald won a 6-man tag on SmackDown, this gives Bianca and Sasha the shot at the belts. Why didn't Reginald get a shot at the belts?
I think Reginald should have got a shot at the belts.
Exactly. Him and Carmella should have went for the women's tag titles. Because literally the only matches Reginald has had, and he has shown that he is like actually one of the most incredible wrestlers that's out there.
I seen him doing backflips and all that in dress shoes, which is hard to do.
That's hardcore. That's hardcore.
Why wasn't Reginald in the fucking Royal Rumble? Like, he could have some amazing spots.
No, to be fair, I think I'm not a huge fan of guys being involved in the women's division.
I mean,
such, but I think it would have been funny if Carmella had won the tag titles with Reginald without ever tagging him in.
Yeah.
So she would just like parade about as like the tag team champions.
I'm the tag team champions.
Yeah, same idea. Like, yeah, I'm the tag team champions. I never had to tag him in. He doesn't count. I did it myself. Do you know what I mean?
And then Reginald kept going, "Oh, we're the tag team champions." And she's like, "No, I'm the tag team champions."
Not necessarily weird, not necessarily that, but just she walks about with the 2 belts, and it's only ever recognised that Carmella won the tag team titles herself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, yeah. He never tagged in, but he was like, he done the hi Snackies, you sure are on the way again. Like, he done the one thing that caused her to win. Like, Nia Jax was going to go for like a slam of some kind, and he pulled the legs out from under Nia that caused Carmella to fall on top of her. 1, 2, 3, and then Carmella won. It's like, oh, I won. And then Reginald's like, well, I helped you. And it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah,
she fell. Yeah, she fell. She fell, and I won. You were never in this match at any point.
Yeah, totally. Like, yeah, that would work. Anyway, let's not get into that discussion. That's a whole fucking episode, potentially. Or a guy having the fucking women's tag titles.
What is this, TNA? No. Okay.
Oh, Eric Young and ODB.
Yeah, there you go.
I did get it. I was fucking in the middle of a big mouthful of my pint.
And Taco keeps jumping up on the fucking desk constantly.
I just had to squish Fergal again there, and now he's like coming nowhere near me at all. And I'm like, just don't bite me, and you won't get squished with water. It's not fucking difficult.
Thankies, I love you, but I'm doing stuff. So because Reginald won the sixth man, or the sixth person, this gave Bianca and Sasha the shot. So in the closing moments of the match, Reginald comes to the ring with a bottle of the bubbly. Starts to try and get that. His finest bubbly, yes. He tries to give it to Sasha, and then Sasha's like, no, I don't want to use this. And this gives Nia the chance to hit the Samoan drop on Sasha Banks for the win. So now Nia holds a pinfall victory over the SmackDown Women's Champion. What do we think about this?
I think it's starting to point towards what we're going to get. If not the Mania program, at least the build into the Mania program.
Right, elaborate, please, because I'm not really sure what you mean.
Well, that Sasha get pinned.
So Bianca will blame Sasha for not winning?
Yes.
Right, okay, I'm on board with you now.
So she's going to be like, you
got beaten, I didn't.
You beat it. You get beated off, I didn't. That's my point. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, it's pretty clear that it's pointing to Bianca versus Sasha.
Absolutely, 100%, yeah.
And the Raw side seems to be Charlotte versus Asuka again. So I was actually thinking before the announcement of Gonzo and Dakota challenging them the week that they're doing the Shaq match, I thought maybe they'd challenge them at WrestleMania. Because I might have misheard, but I thought I heard that all titles would be on the line at WrestleMania.
Don't remember hearing that, but
see if they're
going to do that, I'd be all on board with them doing that. But it'd have to be including the NXT titles. Every NXT title, every SmackDown, every Raw.
I mean,
you've got 2 nights to do it, so it's not as if it's going to be like an overloaded card.
We've not exactly heard whether or not there's actually going to be a takeover WrestleMania weekend, so that's just an assumption. But the kind of rumor that I have heard is that apparently NXT titles are just going to be defended at WrestleMania to kind of fill up a card.
I'm happy with that.
But what I was kind of thinking with that is because Nia can go on both shows right now, being a women's tag team champion, maybe she goes for the SmackDown Women's title at Fastlane, and then Sasha beats her there. You know, just as a kind of filler match, because we still have a pay-per-view to go before Mania.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's very possible.
I don't even know what to think about Fastlane just now. We'll probably get into it more after we finish talking about Chamber.
So is that kind of everybody's last thoughts on this?
Yeah.
On the women's tag match, yeah.
Yeah. There wasn't much to it, to be honest.
It's to add to the video before the Bianca Sasha match.
Yeah. Which, see, listening to other podcasts, there are some people who think that that's going to be the main event of one of the nights, and it's like, I'm sorry, where are you getting this from?
Well, no, it's not going to be, like, I get that they're pure pushing fucking Bianca, right? Totally get that, but it's not going to be the main event. Not when you've got fucking the WWE title match, right? WWE title is always going to be the pinnacle title, right? Especially now that the Universal's on SmackDown. Just saying. Because they literally SmackDown like the second show at times. And then in the Universal title match, you've got fucking Edge going to win a world title again. So Edge and Roman's going to main event one night, and the WWE title main event the second night, or the other night. 100% it's not going to be
Bianca Belair
like,
versus Sasha Banks is not
as good as Sasha is, as good as Bianca Belair is, it is not fucking Ronda Rousey. Much. It's not Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch level of over. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't happening.
Yeah, no chance. Tell you what, see if that does happen, I'll eat my hat.
I will also eat a cake shaped like a hat.
I mean, the match has potential to fucking steal the show.
No.
Potentially, yes, but it's not the main event.
Nah.
I was just trying to give it something.
I mean, Sasha will probably drag her to a decent match.
Don't sleep on Bianca.
I won't. I would rather not. Because she ugly. That's not the point. Don't like her. She annoys me. Don't see why she's so what is the word? Captivating in the ring. I don't get it. I don't get anything about Bianca Belair, to be honest. This might just be me, obviously, because there were a lot of people that are hella excited when she won and cost me 40 quid. But I already didn't like her going in, and then the fact that she cost me money also makes me hear more. But nevertheless, I feel like, Sasha versus Bianca is going to happen. Anyway, let's see what happens with it. I mean, I'll be pulling for Sasha all the way because, you know what? Like, see, probably about a year or so ago, I was not on the Sasha train whatsoever. And now, like, I definitely am. Like, I think Sasha has done some of the best work of her career. And I think it is probably because of this pandemic, very much the same as Bayley. Obviously, why I gave them Tag Team of the Year in the first annual Healy Awards. But I don't know. I just with Bianca, I don't get it. I just really don't.
In my eyes, Bianca's a fucking superstar.
Well, okay, let's talk about it then. Why? What makes her a superstar to you?
She's got the look. She looks great in front of the camera. I think she speaks very well. Her promos are good. She's athletic as fuck. She's strong as fuck. She ran around the fucking ring with Otis in like a Death Valley driver position.
Right, I'll give you. She's got strength, and she's got strength and speed. I would completely disagree about the promos. Like we've said this before, though. But anyway,
I think it's one of those things you either like it or you don't, and it's just we're on opposite sides of the fence here.
What else? Is there anything else with that, or?
And her husband's handsome.
Yes. Montez Ford is incredibly handsome. Yes. I love how that's your last thing. It's like, yes, but Montez Ford.
What?
Yes.
What? What'd you say there?
You said they went.
What? Fair enough. I mean, everybody loves Montez Ford. Everybody can see that Montez Ford is going to be a superstar. He's going to be the Shawn Michaels, well, very sadly, probably. Oh my God, I've forgotten his name.
Exactly, because he's irrelevant. Dawkins.
Yeah, Angelo Dawkins is probably going to be the Jannetty.
Aye, let's face it. Angelo Dawkins was fuck all before Montez Ford came along.
We've seen Angelo Dawkins for years bouncing from gimmick to gimmick to gimmick in NXT. And then as soon as fucking Montez Ford came along, all of a sudden the Street Profits were a thing. And that has been Angelo Dawkins' saving grace.
He's fucking meal ticket.
Exactly. Yeah, he's like, any day now you can see Montez Ford feeling like I do right now with a done and back after how much that he's carried Angelo Dawkins. Because
I think genuinely if Dawkins hadn't found Ford, I don't think Dawkins would still be there.
Oh no, Dawkins would be wrestling on Dark.
Yeah.
Like look at the download show we were at, where he just got D'Lo Brown chanted at him for a fucking full weekend. Like no one gave a fuck about him.
Except for those two dudes next to us, that one dude that kept doing the stir of the pot thing the entire night. They just kept cracking me up to no end.
But that's just fun to do, though.
Exactly. But he came out and kind of done that. It's like, I'm stirring the pot. And then the whole rest of the night, that one dude next to me just done that to everybody. And I was just... Like, I was practically in the ring. Like, I was laughing so hard because I fucking almost fell over the guardrail. Like, he just kept doing that to everybody. I'm like, I don't understand why you keep doing that. Oh my God! Download NXT shows were incredible.
They absolutely were. I don't like them doing TV there. It was better when they were just quote unquote house shows.
Yeah. I mean, see if there were still NXT UK house shows, that would have been fun. And then if they flew over a couple of NXT people, like just kind of zhuzh up a little. So like it would have been like kind of one of those times where like, oh man, you missed the afternoon show. Oh man, like fucking, I don't know, Rhea Ripley was there, and you'd be like, oh fuck, I missed Rhea Ripley. You know, kind of shit like that.
Remember when Drew rejected your flag?
Yes, I did. Well, okay, let's tell that story quickly. Quick plug for the working man.
Okay. This story in less than 20 seconds. At a wrestling show at Download, NXT show, it was Cassius Ohno and Drew versus, I don't even know who they were fucking facing, but
probably against what's their names? They were in Sanity together.
Yeah.
Before they were Sanity.
Yeah. Anyway,
Fulton and Wolf.
Yeah.
And then Drew walked past us, and then Cassius Ohno seen me with the Scottish flag, and then Cassius Ohno grabbed the flag off me. He's like, Drew. Drew was about to leave the stage, and then he's like, look, a Scottish flag. So he ran up, gave it to him, and Drew just went, "Ah!" Bundled it in his hand and just threw it back to him. And it's like,
Probably because he remembers you from the garage.
Probably, by the way.
I don't know. I didn't meet him in a kebab house.
Well, that'll be why you don't have that personal bond with him.
By the way, it got to the point, me and Al, I don't know about yourself, but me and Al met Drew at so many meet and greets. We were basically pals. By the time, see his last appearance at BCW, we turned up for the meet and greet and found Drew's like, alright Al, Chris, how you doing? We met with that many meet and greets, he just knew who we were, because we always got, particularly BCW shows, always got the front row tickets that included the meet and greet.
Yeah, I met him at a PCW show as he was leaving, and I was like, I ran up to him, I was like, Drew, I'm so sorry, I know you're leaving. Can I get a photo for my pal and our kids? And then it's like, oh, you don't want a photo? And it's like, no, it's like, that's all right. I met you like a fucking half a dozen times. Like, I just want them to get a photo because they would appreciate it more. And he's like, he kind of looked at me and it's like, kind of that thing. He's like, I think I recognise you a little.
Yeah, I've told you the story about the Premier Inn in Preston, haven't I?
I don't know. Heads with it.
PCW show in Preston, left after it. Me and Fiona were staying in the same hotel. We went back to the hotel, we went into the bar for a quick drink, and we went into the bar. Lionheart, Shaz Samuels, Kenny Williams, Noam Dar, Drew, and someone else. It's an English guy, I can't remember who the other person was, were in the bar because we were also staying in the same hotel. So
Joey Hayes.
It might have been Joey Hayes actually. We ended up sitting with them drinking, and because obviously it's a hotel, the bar stays open as long as the residents are there drinking. So we drank till 5 in the morning, and I got up, left, I was like, I need to go to bed. Back into my room, slept on top of a chest of drawers, didn't even make it to my fucking bed, right? Slept on top of this chest of drawers, woke up, and I had to go back home early because I was going away on holiday that day. So my train was at 9:30, so I've got up at 9:45, dying. I'm like, I better go down and get something to eat. So I went into the restaurant to grab a quick fucking bite, and Drew's sitting there himself, right? And I'm like, how the fuck are you still alive? And he's like, I've been to the gym. And I'm like, I've not even been to the shower. But yeah, anyway, let's move on because Robbo has to go soon. Yeah, well, he's like, I'm just back from the gym, and I'm like, I've not even made the shower.
Yep, as the good brother say, the best thing to work off a hangover is to literally work it off. Aye. Go to the gym. Well, speaking of Drew McIntyre, he defended the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber against AJ Styles, Kofi Kingston, Sheamus, Jeff Hardy, and Randy Orton. So Randy Orton and Jeff started off the match with Drew McIntyre coming in first. He starts going to town on both opponents. Kofi came in next. And then shortly after, he gets a quick roll-up on Randy Orton, eliminating him.
Did not see that one coming. In fact, I looked away and then looked back, and then we're like, right, we're down to the last 3, and I'm like, no, 4. Where's Randy? No, Randy Orton's still in the match. Just completely missed it. And then
it was that quick. It was very RVD legs style with the kind of roll up that he done. Orton was not happy with this and then RKO'd anybody that was around him. And while Randy Orton leaves, this is the point where almost rips the chamber wall off of Styles' pod so that AJ Styles can get out. And then he kind of runs around the cage and kind of stops as Orton leaves the Elimination Chamber. So he's like, oh, it's okay. You can go. I'll let you go. Do your thing. So Orton kind of glares at him, and it's like, My business isn't with you. So Orton leaves. AJ Styles runs in, and then he tries to pin both Jeff Hardy and Kofi Kingston. Doesn't get either of them eliminated, but he's in there, and he's in there early. Sheamus, being the last entrant, comes out, and then Drew and Sheamus start going at it. There's one point where Kofi flies on top of the two of them because they didn't see him coming, because he was fighting with Jeff. Then Sheamus attempts a super duper suplex on Kofi because he was on top of the pod, but Drew crushes Sheamus. There's a Tower of Doom with everyone except Kofi Kingston, with Sheamus taking the brunt of it. Kofi comes up off the top with a back senton, but gets caught by Sheamus, who hits who flips out of it, then hits the lobster kick, pinning Kofi for the 3 count. Hardy takes down Styles and goes to the top of the pod, but AJ Styles moves, so Jeff is like, fuck it. Sheamus and Drew are fighting on the outside. Let's dive on that, guys.
Breaking news. Biddly dee 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 dee
Shalom.
The main event for Sacrifice has been announced.
Oh
yeah, no, it's been announced. It was announced on Impact.
Shut up.
Was it?
Shut up.
Impact Jet. Rich Swann defending the Impact World Championship against Moose.
Oh, see, we did not know that. We did not know that because I just said earlier on during Impact.
I said it as well. It's going to happen at Rebellion.
Yep.
And then you fucking played along with it, making us look like big fucking marky marks.
No, I thought you said you'd seen this week's Impact.
No, he said he didn't.
No, I thought you said.
Me?
Yes, I said
I did.
Yeah, and I didn't say anything, so I didn't want to spoil it for the listeners. I hadn't really thought about spoiling it for you, to be perfectly honest. No, that was announced on Impact. Like, we knew
it
that.
Wasn't.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
No, it wasn't.
100% it was.
When was it?
At the
He's
end,
not seen this week's Impact, and we're just talking about last week's Impact.
I'm talking about, like, as in the episode that aired last night.
When was it? When was it announced?
After the match between fucking Robert, I'm so sorry this is going to get spoiled for you.
Go for it.
After the match between Jake Something and Moose for the TNA World Heavyweight title, which is now a recognised championship in fucking Impact, and then he started attacking him with the chair. Rich Swann came out. The two of them had a wee bit of go. All security came out. Then Scott DeMorgan came out and said, came out and said, "Do you know what? I'm sick of this. We're going round in circles here. So do you know what? Let's just do it." March 13th, Sacrifice, Rich Swann versus Moose for the Impact World title. That 100%. That's how it ended.
Yeah. Great, because my feed fucking died before that happened.
It 100% happened.
Okay, so now you know what? I 100% believe you. Because I got Moose speared Jake Something 1, 2, 3, and then that was it.
No, there was a bit after it where he hit him with a chair. He went out and he got a chair, he hit him with it. Then Rich Swann came out, the two of them had a wee bit of a scrap. Security came out, held them apart. Then Scott DeMorgan came out and he was like, "Do you know what?
DeMar!
Sorry, DeMar. Sorry. Right, apologies." He came out to theme music as well, which was fucking really freaked me out. Came out and he was like, "Do you know what? We're going round and round and round and round and round in circles here, so let's just put an end to it." I thought you knew that earlier. That's why I didn't say anything when Robert was talking about it. About he's saying it should be on proper pay-per-view, and I think it will be on proper pay-per-view because I think it will be a dodgy finish to it, and then it'll end up being a rematch. And it'll be title for title to merge the two of them. But yeah, so that 100% happened. You're looking it up, aren't you?
No, I'm not looking it up. I believe you.
No, my wireless headphones have cut out, so now you're coming through my laptop. And can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you.
Right, okay. I guess we're just gonna need to do the very little of this with who's coming on the laptop. Is there any feedback?
No, it's fine. Just go for it.
We good?
Yep.
Okay, so I've kind of lost my place. So there was the tour of doom with everybody except Kofi, with Sheamus taking the brunt of it. Kofi comes off the top with a back senton, but Sheamus hits him with a lobster kick. 1, 2, 3. Kofi's out. Hardy takes down Styles and goes for the swanton from off the pod. Styles moves, but he dives on Sheamus and Drew. Then Styles on the other side of the ring, he hits him with a drop kick. Has the swanton, but Drew comes in, hits the Claymore, and Jeff Hardy's gone. Styles hits the 450 on Drew for a 2 count. And then Sheamus takes Drew out for 10 beats to the Baron. And then he hits a diving clothesline on him. McIntyre comes in and hits the Future Shock DDT. And then sets up for the Claymore. But as Drew runs at him, Sheamus hits the lobster kick. But before Sheamus can make the cover, Styles hits the phenomenal forearm, eliminating Sheamus. Styles then goes back to the outside, attempts another phenomenal forearm on Drew, but Drew hits the biggest, meatiest Claymore that I ever did see.
That was sexy as fuck, that Claymore.
Oh, as brutal as AF.
Yep.
1, 2, and 3.
Drew retains.
And Drew retains.
But
So what did you think of the Elimination Chamber itself before?
I actually thought it was one of the lesser impressive Elimination Chamber matches. It seemed too short to me. Like an Elimination Chamber match, I usually set myself up for a good hour, and this was like 28 minutes or something like that. So to me, it seemed a bit short. But that's the reason it was short, because the Chamber match was not supposed to be the payoff of this. Because the payoff of this is coming. But that's my only gripe with it. It just seemed a bit short. I thought Orton went out too early. Also thought Sheamus went out too early. I think it should have been Sheamus and Drew as being the last two, since that's what they've been building to for so long.
Sheamus went out perfectly because of the fact that like they're clearly going to have a match at Mania.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
I think they're either going to fight at Fastlane or Mania.
Like, they're going to have a match at either Fastlane or Mania, but I think it should be.
I don't think so.
And it's going to be non-title, and it's going to be built up because.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Right, just let's get to the last thing that happens, and then I can talk more freely as to why I think that that's not going to happen.
Right. Okay. Right. So the Chamber goes up, and then Bobby Lashley, folks, my man, destroys Drew McIntyre. Takes him with a spear. Rams his head into the announce table a bunch of times. Puts him in the hurt lock, and then slams him on the deck. And then this leads to The Miz versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship, with the Money in the Bank cash in. The Miz tries to hit his DDT, only gets 2. Then connects with the skull crushing finale, and your new WWE Champion, The Miz.
Yeah, okay, so here's my theory behind this, right? Okay. I do not think. I originally thought Drew and Sheamus was going to happen at Mania. That seemed to be where they were going. But with the Miz's cash in at this stage, based on Bobby Lashley doing his dirty work in exchange for a title shot, what's going to happen is Drew's going to come back next week on Raw, right? Drew's going to get involved in the title match between Lashley and Miz. It's going to result in disqualification, which means that Miz keeps the title. Then Sheamus is going to come out and attack Drew, and at Fastlane it's going to be Bobby Lashley versus The Miz for the title, and Sheamus versus Drew. Miz is going to win by some sort of fucking horrendous dirty deeds from Morrison, and it's going to be Drew versus Miz at Mania, and I really fucking hope it's Drew versus Miz at Mania, because I have no interest in Lashley versus Drew at Mania. We've already seen that. I want the fucking Miz to be facing Drew in WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. I think that's the only way they can go for here, in my opinion.
I think the Mania match is going to be a triple threat.
Could potentially be as well.
I think Drew's going to cost Bobby the match at Fastlane, which then you get the triple threat. Or dark horse prediction here. Title for title, Miz defends the WWE Championship against 24/7 champion Bad Bunny.
I think the Miz versus Bad Bunny thing's definitely out the window now. But
hopefully.
And I'm very fucking hopeful it's out the window. Maybe Morrison versus Bad Bunny they could do.
But the feud's not really with Morrison, it's with Miz.
No, he's champion now. Leave him alone.
Yeah. I really do not want to see Drew versus fucking Bobby Lashley for the title.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, no, but especially at WrestleMania. It wasn't great the first time they did it. Never mind at WrestleMania.
But look at it this way, right? Hurt Business Lashley has been fucking fire.
Yes.
Totally, but I just similar to what I was talking about earlier about the Rascals, I just do not see him as a main eventer at all. I see him as a very good hand for a fucking Money in the Bank pay-per-view has been a challenger. Not at Mania, man. Mania should be fucking... Because they're clearly building for Drew's re-crowning at Mania in front of the crowd. That's clearly what they're building. But I would much rather it was him and Miz. I think him and Miz would be so much better than any sort of multi-man match or him versus Lashley. Like...
Yeah. I agree with you, actually. Miz versus Drew, 1-on-1. The winner, obviously becomes champion. So I actually kind of like that. So, like, you know, you do the Drew versus Sheamus thing. At Fastlane.
Or actually, based on what happened on Raw, what happens if Braun gets involved in the title match next week, and that ends up setting up Braun versus Lashley for Fastlane?
There's a rumour going about that Braun's WrestleMania opponents are going to be Adam Pearce and Shane McMahon.
Very possibly.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Well, I'm not so sure about Adam Pearce because they didn't pull the trigger on that match at Royal Rumble, but I'm very feeling the vibe that it's going to be Braun versus Shane McMahon. Definitely.
And I have no understanding of why this match is a possibility.
Because Braun feels he's ignored because he wasn't put in the Elimination Chamber. And Adam Pearce and Shane McMahon are saying it's nothing personal, it's just we decided to do this as only former WWE champions. You've never won the WWE title. He's like, yeah, but I was Universal Champion. And they're like, yeah, but that's not the criteria. Like it's nothing personal. It's just that's not the criteria. That's how Braun's pissed off with them. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so Braun versus Shane, and at WrestleMania, personally, and I guess we're kind of doing this thing, I see Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre 1-on-1, no belts involved, but maybe the two of them, the winner that comes out of that will be the first challenger for the WWE title.
I really can't see that happening, man. Like,
well,
I appreciate that's your theory, but see when you're putting the two guys in the title picture just now are fucking The Miz, no offence to The Miz, I love The Miz and Bobby Lashley. Neither of them, they can't.
Don't you diss the fucking Miz?
I'm not dissing them. I am not dissing them. But
it's
can you honestly imagine a WrestleMania that has Miz versus Lashley as the WWE Championship match?
They might do like what they did at WrestleMania 30 and have Drew versus Sheamus, winner faces The Miz the next night.
Potentially, yeah, they could do that.
I still
think ultimately at the end of the day, it's going to be. Oh, I hope it's Drew versus Miz because I have no interest in Drew versus Lashley. That's all. We saw that less than a year ago, like.
Yeah,
and it wasn't great. It wasn't great then. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. But I feel like Lashley's improved a lot since,
and I totally agree with you.
And they could have a much better match than what they did have.
I totally agree with you, but I don't think Lashley's at the level to be in the WrestleMania main event just now. They could maybe go on to what's the pay-per-view after WrestleMania now? Is it
Money in the Bank or Backlash or something?
Aye. They could maybe go to Backlash and have a fucking banging match, but I just do not see that as a WrestleMania main event.
Fair dues. Sorry for the yawn. It's been a long day.
Sorry if I'm talking shit.
I understand the hesitation you have with Lashley versus Miz. I mean, personally, I don't think that's a Mania match.
No, that's not going to happen at Mania, 100%. I don't know if you heard that, Griz, when you were away, but Robert brought up
I heard everything.
Yeah. So, Sheamus versus Drew on night 1, with the winner facing Miz on night 2. All behind that, absolutely.
I like that idea. I really like that idea.
But I don't think Bobby Lashley should be anywhere near the WWE title match at WrestleMania.
But as I kind of said at the Rumble, the way that they were pushing like Bobby Lashley to be like, oh my God, here comes one of the favorites, and he gets put in 3 minutes. Is like they're really high on Lashley right now, and then they're trying to get him in there.
And also the fact that he wasn't pinned in the triple threat to lose the title.
Exactly.
Which is why he should be absolutely still feuding with fucking Riddle.
No, I get my way for Riddle because that whole thing's been shite.
It has been.
Even the clips I've seen, stamping on his feet and all that.
I get that it's not been good, but he shouldn't just take the fact he lost his US title by not being pinned and just went, fuck it, I'll move on. Like, you should be upset about that. Like, if they really want to put really want to put Bobby Lashley in one of the main events of WrestleMania, fine, but he should be getting his rematch with Riddle at Fastlane first to put that to bed. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where Riddle pins him or whatever happens, then he moves on. It shouldn't just be a case of he just forgets that happened and he's like, fuck it. It kind of makes the US title seem a bit shit. Like, he's just quite happy to just move on from it. Like, fuck it. I didn't get pinned, but it's alright, you can have that belt.
Well, again, Lashley didn't get pinned in the match, but obviously MVP was in the Miz's ears. Like, right, okay, if Lashley takes out McIntyre and then you beat him, this is what we want. So I guess this is all going to kind of come out of Raw, which kind of means.
But they could have done that at Fastlane. They didn't have to do that there. Like, they could have done the same thing at Fastlane, but after Riddle beats Bobby Lashley clean, then move him on. See the fact he wasn't pinned.
Riddle didn't beat Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, so Riddle should have beat Bobby Lashley clean at Fastlane, right? Then that's settled, and then they move him on. Don't move him on when he's lost the belt in a triple threat match. He wasn't even pinned in. Like, it's just, to me, it's kind of like, well, fucking. So he really never gave a shit about that belt then, because he fucking moved on from it pretty fast. Do you know what I mean?
But to be fair, it's not as if he's just moving on with a feud. He's moving on to go for the WWE Championship.
But then also you're negating the fact that, like, kind of during this pay-per-view, MVP was talking to The Miz, And then
all they had to do was move that to the next pay-per-view. Do the exact same thing. He loses to Riddle in the next pay-per-view, and that's it. Riddle pinned who was the champion. That's it, done. Riddle is the fucking US champion. Then they do that thing where Lashley beats up Drew after his match and Miz cashes in.
But I feel like Miz
because at that point. Yeah, no, but at that point though, after Lashley's tried to get his belt back, failed to get it back, and he's like, oh shit, I need to do something else. This is the other thing I'm doing. He should have at least cared about the fact he lost the US title. Even if it's just for another couple of weeks, he should have at least cared about that.
Maybe. Like I can agree with that to an extent. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done what they did, but they should have done it at Fastlane, not Elimination Chamber. Lashley should have been pissed off that he lost his belt without being pinned.
Well, he did.
So he should have been pissed off about it. But he's not, because he's just moved on.
Right, well, like, you know what? That was the deal, was Lashley lost his belt without being pinned. MVP got on Miz's ear and says, right, you know what? Well, what if Lashley attacked McIntyre after the Elimination Chamber, where he's been in there for arguably over half an hour, and then after that, the Miz cashed in, wins the belt, and then the first thing is like, right, Lashley gets the first shot. So now,
I totally
on Raw next week, he gets his shot.
Yeah.
So when Morrison probably fucks it up and gets involved in some way, because I mean, like, it was meant to be potentially a three-way, and Lashley beat Strowman, so now it's going to be a one-on-one, and now the Miz is like, well, okay, we've got rid of one fucking monster, but I still need to wrestle another. He's going to do something.
You lose by DQ.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Probably will, yes.
But I totally get that. I do completely get what you're saying, but I think Lashley should have been more, even just for a couple of weeks, upset he lost his belt without being pinned before going for the title.
But
yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Chris.
Yeah, like, I completely understand where you're coming from as well. It's purely because of the fact that, like, this deal was made at the pay-per-view. See, if this was maybe made on Raw or even at Fastlane, maybe a different story.
It should have been at Fastlane. It should have been Riddle versus Lashley at Fastlane. Riddle wins. And they maybe could have done it that Riddle wins because MVP got involved and it backfired. And that was MVP's I am sorry gesture to Lashley by getting him that opportunity.
Yeah, like, say
MVP, that would have worked as well.
With his crutch, like, swung it when he think he was.
Riddle ducks, he takes out Lashley, something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Riddle beats him, and then MVP's apology is, "Oh, I've got this idea. Why don't we do this?" And it shows you him talking to Lashley, like whispering in his ear. Then later on the night, it shows you him talking to Miz, and then they do that, and then that's the run into WrestleMania. If they're going to have that title match on Raw, then they can do that in the build to WrestleMania. Do you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like, that's the way I would have done it. I think Lashley should be more upset that he lost his belt without being pinned than he is. Maybe I'm just too much of a mark, but
no, like that. This is the thing that I feel about it, is the fact that, like, he is not upset about losing the US title because there was the plan. There was a plan of the Miz wins the WWE title, and then MVP knows, you know what?
But your pride should get in the way.
Yeah.
Like, let's not talk about it being a wrestling thing. Let's just say in real life, if something bad happens to you that's not your fault, your pride gets in the way, and you want to correct that. Like, so I mean, his pride should be getting in the way.
That's debatable, though.
No, I'm totally on Chris's side here.
Well, like, okay. I'm kind of looking at it from a wrestling kind of perspective I
think,
if I'm a mid-card champion and then I lose a bit with it being pinned, but then my manager goes, right, we've got a deal here with Johnny Schlub over here, and then Johnny Schlub wins the belt. It's like, okay, so your part of this was.
I totally get what you're saying, but the natural thing is your pride.
Right, hold on. Oh, one at a time.
Sorry.
Okay, Chris first.
I totally get what you're saying, but naturally your pride should be kicking in where you want to rectify that wrong.
Okay, Robert?
Right. Said that the MVP Miz deal, that happened after the triple threats. That plan wasn't in place. Right? So maybe if you had like a wee backstage bit, maybe where Lashley's fucking flinging shit across a room, and then it sort of shows you he's upset about losing the belt. And then on Raw, he's not upset because this deal's happened.
Yeah,
but he's not upset about
like if they'd done it at Fastlane where he had got his rematch, then lost again, but made it MVP's fault that he lost. Then MVP goes, I've got you this deal, which is better than the position you were in.
But he's not upset about that. He doesn't care about the US title because he can go for the WWE title.
But he should.
But he doesn't, because the WWE title means more.
Oh my god.
But he should. He lost it. Why do I want to go for the WWE title with 2 belts? They could have done the same fucking deal if he'd won.
But who cares, right? He lost that belt. He didn't get pinned. That's part of the thing.
But he should be angry at that.
No, like, you know, fuck it. Like, we've made the deal. The Miz cashes in. I'm first in line for the WWE title, and you know what? I wasn't even pinned, so therefore nobody can say anything about it. Nobody can say anything. I wasn't pinned when I lost my US title. Like, fucking John Morrison was, because he's a fucking jobber. Like, but I can go for the WWE title right away because I wasn't pinned. Like, this happened after the US title match.
I know. Right, so let's agree to disagree, wrap this shindig up.
Yeah. Because this can go on for about another 8 hours.
And we've spent more time talking about Lashley being upset, not being upset, than we have on any other fucking match or segment on this podcast.
Yes.
Come on to fuck.
On that note, I have been Chris and motherfucking Hughes.
I have been the Griz.
I've been over this for the last 10 minutes.
Oh my god, you... What part of there's 3 hosts you not understand, Chris?
It's not that, man. I can see the fucking desperateness to get to bed in Robert's eyes. So I'm trying to move things along quickly.
But by cutting them off is fucking bullshit. Right, take 2.
I've been Chris motherfucking Hughes.
I have been the Griz.
I'm going to bed.
Seriously?
I did it on purpose that time.
Chris, shut the fuck up.
Okay, take 3. I have been Chris motherfucking Hughes.
I've been the Griz.
I'm not saying anything.
Heads with it, Chris.
Bye.
Ho. Jesus.
Ho.
See.
Night.
Remember, you can follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Heel Podcast. And also, don't forget, you can hear our archives on the World Wide Web at heelpodcast.co.uk. Well, that's all, folks. So long. Have a good day.